if I do.
Covino and Rich.
Are you ready? Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Get ready.
Turn on Dollar on the radio.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball!
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Turn it up. We're doing the show. Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
There you go.
We weren't on the whole time?
Guess not. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the real MVP after all.
Covino, not the real MVP. Damn! All right, so now we're on. I was like, man, I'm not really hearing much.
Oh, good. We're here now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you only missed 3 minutes and nothing.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Hey,
welcome
buddies.
to the show.
Welcome
How's
to the
it
show.
going?
Welcome.
Guten Morgen. They heard the intro, but no intro. You really didn't miss anything, to be honest.
No, I really just said, hey, we got a lot to get to today.
Yeah.
So
thank you
I'll
for being
repeat
here.
it. We got a lot to get to today.
What's up, Bobby? What's up, Jen? What's up, Lynn? What's up, Bob
Wow.
Sean and Sean Anderson?
Efren, Terry, Billy Davis, everyone. Let's keep the roll call coming.
Johnny
Let's go.
O'Neill.
Juan Rodriguez.
By the way, this looks a lot better than what we normally see. Right? It's much easier to read. So
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because
make note to Spot that this is a better option for us.
I put the chat on. We scrolled over the night mode.
Yeah, it looks...
On the night mode.
I think Spot just likes to watch us struggle because this is a much better option. We're able to read the feedback
I know.
much better this way. Anyway, it's a spotless show, but not really because our mics weren't even on before. I apologize for that, but trying to get everything done last minute and just trying to figure out this new system, new setup. But thank you guys for being here on our show. Hope you had a great weekend. Let's have a kick-ass week. Let's get the feedback coming in. Thanks for getting our merch. Shop.covinoandrich.com. A lot of
Greg
people
Kelly,
getting their stuff.
Amanda,
I appreciate that.
Julie, Maria. I see you, Maria.
Maria, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
I bet you. Hey, if you let me get with you, I'll set you straight. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'm sweating you. You should be sweating me. Little BBD action.
How about this? Maria.
Are you doing West Side Story or TKA? I'm confused.
TKA.
I feel like you...
I was in between?
Like you morphed them a little bit.
Yeah, because I went vibrato.
You
So
went,
you thought
Maria, Maria, I just met a girl named Maria.
But then again, yeah, you're at the TKA.
The most beautiful sound I ever heard.
Maria.
No.
Is it a Jersey club or a Broadway show?
You're mixing up TK is Maria. Maria. All right, so anyway, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Bree and Joel and Jay Bots and Alex. All right, we're here. We're good.
Let me see here. Single shot Covino. Does that work? Bam,
Little-
boom, beam,
little
bam, boom.
frazzled.
Me, bam, boom. Here we go.
I'm aggravated because nothing was working the way it was supposed to be working, but and it's hard for me to pretend like I'm super stoked about it because I'm not.
Yeah,
But-
but you know what? I feel like big picture, there's nothing to really be upset about,
No,
right?
not at all. So, I get happy once the mics are on. for the most
Microphone
part.
check.
All
Microphone
right, so
check.
hope you had a great weekend. I hope all your teams won. An interesting weekend of the NFL. We talked a lot about it on Fox Sports Radio last night. We talked about our takeaways. We'll do a quick,
Hit quick.
a little bit of a quick recap of what we witnessed over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed your fights. We have a brand new heavyweight champion of the world. And, of course, Monday Night Football tonight, Cowboys and Eagles. So lots to get to. I have an interesting change my mind today, too.
Oh, good. All right. Well, change my mind. All right,
my
good ones.
mind. I'll give you a little New Jersey recap. It's good to be back from the East Coast, back on the West Side. So lots to get to.
Feeling the love. What's up, Maria? Love the Fox Sports radio show last night. Kim.
I was listening to it on my way in today.
So good.
On the podcast.
Oh, that was a weigh-in? What are you at, 187?
Well, after New Jersey, I was at a solid 187. After New Jersey, I'm probably like 189. Maybe teetering on 190, but it's all water weight, as Jordan always tells me.
I haven't,
it's all water weight. Don't worry about it.
I haven't weighed myself in months.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I feel like it's probably going to be the same exact thing, so I'm like, what's the fucking point?
Don't even mess with the scale. It's not even worth it.
Let's see. Lynn, me and TB12 crying in our tequila.
By the way, what an interesting Sunday when both Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady the Great lose on the same day.
And let's
It's
see.
like something's wrong with the universe. They both lost yesterday?
Josh saying his Colts suck, but he'll keep watching.
They do suck.
Do me a favor and skip the Steelers talk. That's Bree.
They suck too.
Let me tell you something. It is impossible. I wrote this down because we talked a lot of football last night, obviously. Had a really fun Fox Sports Radio Sunday night Covino Rich football show. The thing is, no one really knows where these teams stand after 3 games.
No.
Right? So I said this morning, because people were busting the balls of one downtown Jason Brown. And the reality is...
But we've established he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that loves to talk about Jameis Winston.
He's also, and I say this kindly, and I think he's a smart guy, but he's kind of a know-it-all. So people are going to want to pounce.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right.
So downtown Jason Brown
Right.
is talking about Jameis Winston. And yesterday...
I actually agree with Jason Brown.
I agree too, a pretty solid win for the Saints. However... Jameis Winston didn't put up like monster numbers, but then again, people assume that means good. Monster numbers a lot of times mean that the person is playing from behind, right? It's like for years, Matthew Stafford would have like 300 or 400 yards a game. You know why? Because the Lions stunk and he was always playing from behind.
They're just throwing it out
When a quarterback has 50 attempts and 400 yards and their team loses, it's not that he's dominating. It's more of a, hey, trying to play catch up, right?
Jason Brown says, I'm not a know-it-all by far. Well, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I like Jason Brown.
Talk about like self-unaware. I would tell you straight up as a friend, I would say that's the impression that you give off 100%. That may come from your actual intelligence, though. Like, I think you're a really smart guy, so take it as a compliment.
Well, how about this? Jason
Brown's
Brown's really smart.
It's also a reason that people are going to pounce because you come across that way a little bit.
What about if someone's really smart and they're almost know-it-all, but they come across as a know-it-all?
Okay.
He almost knows it all.
He almost,
Yeah,
all right, you're an almost
it.
know-it-all. But you're a really smart guy. It's a good thing, kind of, sort of.
When you look around the NFL, right? When you look around the NFL, it's impossible to decide where these teams are, right? Like, based on 1 or 2 missed field goals here or there, you could only really judge these teams, I think at least. What'd you say, Covino? Are you going to agree if I say 7 games in? 6 games in?
A good assessment?
Yeah. 6 games, you're looking at like a possible
6,
third of the season.
because I think even 4th next week is very
hard.
telling, but it's still hard. So, yeah, 6 sounds good.
Yeah, because if you look through the league right now, right? Look through the league. There are so many
question marks?
2-1 teams and 1-2 teams. When most of the league is 1-2 or 2-1, and the 3-0 teams, I'm not going to say, I'm not sounding like sour grapes here. My Niners lost last night to a pretty solid Green Bay team. The Niners had a lot of fight in them, so I can't get mad at
a team that took a beating week 1.
I can't
by the media and on the field.
Yeah, I can't get mad about last night. The 49ers showed a lot of heart in the second half, and hey, listen, you just left Aaron Rodgers like 10 seconds too much.
That's really
it's it. I mean,
that's all it came
you know
down
what?
to.
And the reality is,
that's all he needed.
If Crosby misses that field goal, this is why you can't judge teams after 3 weeks. Because if Crosby misses that field goal,
you can't, but you have to.
No, but what I'm saying is, if Crosby misses that field goal, the 49ers are 3-0. They're undefeated, looking great, and man, the Packers are 1-2, and Aaron Rodgers better get this on track. He makes the field goal. They're tied. They're both 2-1, and they're both like in a pile of 2-1 teams, right? Now, look at the AFC. The Bills are 2-1. Cincy, Baltimore, and Cleveland, 2-1. Tennessee's 2-1. The 2 3-0 teams, no offense, they're sort of imposters because the Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos are not the best teams in football, right?
No.
So you really can't assess much there. And then in the NFC, Carolina's 3-0. They haven't really played anyone tough, though. But I think Carolina's fun to watch. The Rams and Arizona play next week, which means one of those teams will have a loss. So the
That's
reality,
a big game, yeah.
Yeah, so the reality is it's so hard to tell right now. It really is. Like, I wish your team's luck. Like, I was really bummed at the end of the Niners game last night because I was like, oh, it would have been sweet to be 3-0. But, again, you can't judge any of these teams. It's 3 games.
But it's our job to speculate, and it's fun
Of
for the
course.
football fan. That's what people do. But to say you know anything is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason Brown, I did read what you said, and it does make sense. I'll cut you some slack. He's like, I just speak with a lot of confidence. And I could totally feel you there. You know, if you missed our Fox Sports Radio show, again, the link's in our Twitter, at Covino and Rich. We dove deep into some of this stuff, but had a lot of fun with it. The biggest takeaways, again, is Mahomes and the Chiefs losing last night.
Yeah, well, you know what? Look at
their
it.
rough start. The first time under Andy Reid, they're under 500. Of course, Tom Brady losing a game yesterday. The Rams winning, obviously, is a big story. And the Browns, are they the team to beat in the AFC? They look solid. And, dude, the Vikings played really hot. And they were in every game that they've lost.
So are the Vikings better than we think, right?
Exactly. So, you know, that was the gist of it. That
These
was the
1 and
most
2,
of it.
honestly, these 1 and 2 teams, I'm really just
Oh, and you said a million times that the Broncos are the softest
3-0 team I've ever
3-0
seen.
team ever.
So
But they're doing what they're supposed to do.
There's always surprises, yeah. But the Broncos are doing what they're supposed to do. I hated that when the Niners went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago and lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They talked all year about how the Niners had a soft schedule. You can only play who's on your schedule. So Broncos fans are like, what the fuck do you want from us?
Right.
We played the 3 teams on our schedule and they whooped them. But I'm just saying, any 1 and 2 team that looks like they're struggling, if they win next week, they're 2-2, and they're just among a pile of 500 football teams. So I think that's the best way to sum up Week 3 of the NFL. My picks stunk this week. I went 1-3, and the Chiefs messed up 2 of my bets, which stink because I had the Chiefs just winning. So the Giants stink. They do. The Giants and the Jets might be the painful teams to watch.
It's a matter of who's the worst out of the New York teams. And we say this over and over again, too, even though the Lions lost to the Ravens. It took a 66-yard field goal from Tucker for the Ravens to beat the Lions. The Lions 0-3, but have played with a lot of heart and a lot of fight. And Goff promised that, eventually these heartbreaks are going to stop because they do play tough. But, again, the Ravens on top yesterday.
Jason Nichols brings up a great point on the in-show thread. He said, it's a long season. Teams will have ups and downs, injuries as well.
And reach arounds.
And listen, it's really simple. 3 weeks, impossible to tell. Impossible to tell. What's my betting record on the season? Let's see. Last week I was 4-1. Yesterday I was 1-3. And the first week I was 2-2. So 5, 6, 7-6. 500. So I shouldn't even have gambled. It's meant nothing.
I'm not sure I want to go to Teaser Town with that record.
Well,
Who are you to criticize the Chiefs? I'm just kidding.
oh,
Anyway.
the Lions exist to make the Jets look good. It's possible.
Did we mention how slow Ben Roethlisberger looks and how
Yeah.
hobbly and wobbly Carson Wentz
He
looks?
does.
Anyway,
Not to oversaturate the football stuff. Like I said, we'll wrap it up now. So much other stuff to get to, but coming off of Football Sunday, Matthew Stafford does look totally revived. Andrew's right. He looks like
G status.
Matthew Stafford looks like
It's the McVay sort of Stafford combo.
I can't wait for you guys
I think
to
they're
see.
vibing.
I can't wait for everyone to see when we get our Matthew Stafford opportunity.
What does that mean? Like the right
Being
fit?
put in the right place with the right fit
I
with
think
the
we
right
got
company.
that. I think we got that with Fox Sports Radio.
If it
feels
grows,
good.
if it grows, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really weird scene for us, to be honest. It's like we walk into the studio, we really don't know anybody. The bosses know us, but the bosses are never there, right? So we come in once a week and leave. It's a really weird thing. It's like, oh, do we really work here? It's really interesting. And again, the sports podcast from Fox Sports Radio, Football Sunday Fun Day, is available at Covino and Rich when we're done with today's
Diggity,
show.
no doubt.
But lots of fun stuff in sports this weekend. Hope you enjoyed that shit.
Kyle saying your bets don't pay even money, so you're down. That is true, but it depends on how much you bet on each game, Kyle. Like, if you follow along, I'm not betting the same amount of money on like some...
We're just taking the scenic route to Teaser Town.
Yeah, it's not a... Like, if I'm doing like a long shot parlay, I'm not putting a lot of money on it, but I count that as a loss. You get what I'm saying? So a win could be a bigger win than a loss.
Yeah.
Being a smaller loss.
Adam Tryon, Stafford is finally surrounded by talent. Yeah, it's not just him, right? And even their defense looked pretty good yesterday. So
let's all
props to them.
Let's all go to Teaser Town. My last thought, when you look around the NFL, right? By the way, big Yankees win yesterday. Congratulations.
I was getting to that. I know you like to blow your football load.
I think more people care about football loads than
course.
baseball loads. Loads.
Not when your team stinks, though.
Is Mauser right here? He said rumor.
Ask Bears fans if they want to talk about it.
Mauser, he might be right here. There's a rumor that Ben Roethlisberger drove home doing 30 in the fast lane with his turn signal on the whole time. Man, he is old.
I wouldn't be surprised. He
I'm
looks
really
that
old.
way, especially in comparison to all these young and mobile quarterbacks out there.
Is it true that
really
is it true that Eddie, your DJ, and Ben Roethlisberger graduated high school together?
It's possible.
Wow.
It's possible. Covino's hairs. Laughing my ass off. Looking good, fellas.
You always
Thank
do.
you,
You
Lisa.
check your hair quite a lot.
I really didn't have a moment to sort of settle in, and that's on me, but we were trying to figure out the new setup
You're
here.
the MVP, bro.
I don't want to be the MVP.
So, Stafford, I keep bringing his name up. Yeah, he had Megatron and other stars, but he never had a complete team. And you know what it does? It just shows you Matthew Stafford might be the first clear, when I say clear, I'm talking like Crystal Pepsi clear.
Oh.
Remember Crystal Pepsi?
Okay, so you're saying it's going to be a bust?
No,
I'd
no.
say that's a bad example.
He's Crystal Pepsi clear. Yeah, that is a bad example. You know they credit part of Crystal Pepsi's failure to an SNL bit where they did Crystal Gravy? They said people mocked it so much that people were sort of done with it.
I don't remember that.
So it's so crystal clear that Matthew Stafford's one of those guys that has always been good, but on a bunk team. And you're like, man, it really does matter who drafts you, where you play, what you do.
Yeah.
Like
Tell Zach Wilson
like
that.
Zach Wilson's like, yo,
After
I'm going to
5
suck.
sacks.
Zach Wilson in his mind is like, yo, I'm going to be out of the NFL by the time I'm 26 years old, and the Jets stink, and they
Hold on.
ruined me.
He was sacked 5 times. Was Fields sacked 9? Someone was sacked 9 times yesterday. Who was it? Seriously.
Justin Fields.
It was Fields, right?
Yeah.
9 times? His ass must hurt today. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like,
9 times. Yeah, no, it totally matters. Absolutely matters where you get your start. And that matters.
Stafford-
That applies to life, too, as we try to, always find a relatable angle here. Not everybody's a sports fan. But let's say, your first relationship was an abusive one.
Yeah.
That really sets up really terrible groundwork for the rest of your life and the rest of your dating and relationship career.
No, it's true. I thought that, this is a really interesting thought. I knew a guy once that his girlfriend, I'm being serious, like his first real girlfriend.
Yeah. Was manipulative or narcissistic or something.
No. Those are good things.
Right.
I mean, those are bad things, but no. This girl, never sucked his dick.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, pardon me.
No, you didn't. You couldn't.
She never sucked his dick. So I remember having conversations with this guy when we would talk about dating and girlfriends and hooking up. He made it seem like a girl sucking your dick was not a common thing. And I'm like, at the time, I was like, well, in my relationship, it is. This Johnson's getting touched. So he was under the impression that whoever he dated, or whoever anyone dated, blowjobs are like a rare birthday type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, in a whack relationship. So, man, bad girlfriend, bad job could really set a weird precedent where you're like, yo, this is how it is, I guess. Someone pointed out, I think it was Wes.
Sam Darnold will tell you.
I think Wes said it. He goes, Sam Darnold and
3-0 right
Matthew
now.
Stafford must be saying to themselves, I told you, suckers, it was the team, not me. It was
But
the
a lot
bunk
of times,
teams.
they say the cream rises to the top. You knew that, right? It's just lucky on them and fortunate for them that they stood around long enough to prove that
Well,
no one was really blaming them.
You're a big baseball guy. Ohtani is saying, yo, I want to win. So if the Angels can't win, I will go win somewhere. So a lot of times it's a great player when he's finally on the good team. It's like, oh, wow, he's even better than I thought he was. And Matthew Stafford, when
you rise to it, and I'm sure that your heart's not as in it when the rest of the team is not playing behind you and leadership sort of sucks. I mean, a good quarterback, Tom Brady is proof that one guy can change the culture, but they did give him all the pieces as well, So got to keep that in mind.
I'm looking through the NFL to wrap it up when it comes to.
I'm still feeling really bad for your friend and what he thought was normal. But yeah, that set up terrible expectations and terrible groundwork for the rest of his relationships.
Or the guy whose first girlfriend is the jealous type where everywhere he goes, he's like, hey, babe, I'm checking in. I promise I'm not doing anything. That guy sort of has like that neutered mentality for relationships to come.
Or let's say you're just with a woman who's submissive and subservient and takes your shit. But but it's absurd. So it sets up like a really like unbalanced dynamic. You're going to take that mentality into your next relationship.
And you'll never have
and
every girl's going to be like, fuck you.
She's like, go fuck yourself. And you're like, what the fuck's her problem? Because you're all thinking that was normal.
I do what I want.
Anyway, yeah, I feel bad for some of these guys with the rough start. Zach Wilson, Fields, guys like that.
Yeah, again, it's much like life. Sports a lot of times does have a lot of great life analogies. And you're right. Like the guy who's never used to getting a blowjob finally is in a relationship where a girl touches his penis. He's like, oh, wait. So this was available. I just wasn't capable of getting it yet.
The point is it matters. You got to turn dilemmas into dilemonade, right? Because on the flip side, let's talk careers real quick outside of football. My first experience, it was a great one, but I worked for a guy very much like the Devil Wears Prada. You remember that sort of scenario? Like the really hard-nosed boss that sort of shits on you, but it's all with the intent of getting more out of you.
Yeah, right? I'm going to make you better, so I'm going to treat you like shit.
Looking back, it worked, right? Even though I sort of like dreaded it at the time, it worked, and nothing in my life will ever seem as difficult. So in some ways, it does benefit you if you turn it around that way. If you had a bad relationship experience your first round, maybe everything moving forward is sunshine and rainbows, a la Sam Darnold, a la Matt Stafford.
Well, if you look around the NFL, again, I think it's impossible to really...
Impossible.
Impossible.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah,
you gotta
it's
say
impossible.
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 Yeah, bro.
It's impossible.
You're impossible.
Honestly, impossible to really figure out who the dominant teams are after 3 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
6 weeks, because
it takes a full calendar year to know exactly who you're dating.
Yeah.
It takes about 6 weeks to know where your teams really are in the NFL.
Fucking Stephen A. Smith or Max Kellerman or
they don't know.
Fucking Colin Cowherd or Dan Patrick. Or if anyone's telling you that they know the best power teams, they're full of doo-doo because nobody knows right now. In fact, if you look at the AFC, right now, you'd say, the Bills look like Josh Allen bounced back. They were really good last year. They're probably still really good, right? Then you say, well, Cincinnati's young and hungry. Baltimore was a 66-yard field goal away from being 1-2. So who knows? Cleveland looks good, right? Tennessee, solid. Then the West has a bunch of good teams. The Chargers look great. They're 2-1. A couple undefeated teams. You really don't know. And then in the NFC, I think what I'm trying to get at, Covino, is that I think there's one team right now that clearly is standing out, and that's the Rams.
The Rams, for sure.
Other than
they're
the Rams,
proving they're the team to beat. They're the story. That was the biggest statement game that we saw so far this season. And then two other things that we saw. We saw two records made, not broken, because there was a 68-yard field goal attempt by the Cardinals. Prater was going for a 68. He previously held the record, a 64-yard field goal record. He misses, and Agnew runs it back for 109 yards. He's the third person to ever do that. So we saw a kick six for 109 yards yesterday.
Parody!
Sharing the record.
There's parody.
And then we saw a 66-yard field goal made, Justin Tucker with the Ravens to beat the Lions. Again, a brand new record. So it was a fun day.
Again, when you're so new into a season, when you're so Agnew into a season, one game seems way dramatic. Like tonight, if the Cowboys win, man, they're in first place. If they lose, they're 1-2, and everyone's like, "Fucking Cowboys!" Like you can't do it in 6 weeks.
Too soon.
Six
6 weeks. I really like that.
Too
6
soon.
weeks. 6
Too
weeks.
soon. Because
By the
right
way,
now, because
the feedback's hilarious, bro. PT23 West says that Bud Light hoodie you're wearing is impossible.
I love this. This is one of my old school. This is one of my old school, most comfortable. Like I'll never get rid of this.
Like, where's your? You like we're on. Like we're streaming. Like
a Bud Light, a football beer hoodie.
You know what
is
that goes with?
appropriate?
It goes with your $9 Weekies that you wear. Those weak ass Jeeper shoes. Your Bobos.
Is this guy crazy?
No, you're crazy. This is a freebie that you wear to bed, not that you like wear on your show. I'm not saying you shouldn't own that. You take that out on a nice jog. All right. Anyway,
This guy's out of his mind.
Alex Efforts. I hate to call him out, but he said that his girlfriend's a little skimpy on the beach.
A little skimp.
Yeah,
Little skimpy. Let's
sorry.
see.
She needs to put in the efforts.
Gabe Moreno saying he thinks it's all about
Pun intended.
Gabe Moreno saying it's about the Bills, Raiders, Chargers, Niners, Rams, and Tampa. I mean, I think those are.
Say that again. I want to see if I agree.
He's saying Bills, Raiders, Chargers,
Bills, Raiders, Chargers,
and Niners, Rams, Tampa.
Niners. Yeah.
Those are good teams.
Yeah. Oh wait, Browns.
Browns, yeah.
Browns. They got me
Cardinals.
tuning in.
I mean,
Cardinals.
but then again, like, but then
there's
you know
a
what?
lot of good teams
You
so
don't
far.
know. You don't
Week
know.
3.
You don't know. And I'll tell you I'll give you one last piece of evidence.
Andrew Hart wants to know, when's the last time you had a Bud Light? You fucking liar. Say it last time you listened to Pink Floyd.
When last time I had a Bud Light? It's a good question. Probably
Does seltzers count?
Probably at a barbecue.
If seltzers count.
Yeah, I had a Bud Light seltzer with Covino watching a fight, and
Possible.
Bud Light probably in college. No, probably at a barbecue in Texas or something. Probably someone's like, "Hey, here's a Bud Light." But the real question: Arizona's going to win the West? That's possible. West, like I said, nobody knows. Next week, Arizona and the Rams. That'll be a good one to see where those two teams are at. But I was just, as I talked about the Rams being the best team, I looked at who the 3 wins are. If you remember, they just last-minute field goal beat the Colts last week. So
sometimes you play to your competition.
Yeah, so
right?
I mean, like,
But the fact
you
that
never
they
know.
stepped it up and beat Tampa yesterday.
Yeah. So there you go.
Was a statement for sure. So yeah, I mean, we're all over the place. We're trying to give you our takeaways, the headlines, the obvious observations that we saw. Again, we went more in depth yesterday. Don't want to repeat ourselves. We want you to check out our sports podcast on Fox Sports Radio. The link again is at Covino and Rich on Twitter, on Instagram, it's everywhere. And
I have a question for you.
put it on auto download. Check it out. You'll like it.
Has nothing to do with sports. We'll move on. Ian Kennedy could stop ripping his flannels.
Even our sports broadcast on Fox Sports is from a fun place. It's not like, hardcore sports and we're breaking down the plays. It's a lot of fun. So, we suggest you check it out.
I love it. Great question posed by me based on reading the feedback.
Okay.
You guys making fun of my Bud Light sweet hoodie that I love.
I mean, it's sweet if you're
Suck my
taking a
balls.
walk, like on a brisk sort of.
What makes it better than
Monday
what makes
morning.
your shirt so much better? You
This
have a
one,
hoodie on.
I don't know. It's a fucking Banana Republic and it's nice.
But because
stylish.
because
it doesn't say Bud Light and it's not made of like Long Johns.
We're wearing the same exact thing. Mine just says Bud Light on it.
No, it's not.
This is a thermal
this is a
hoodie.
fucking
That's a
Banana
cheap t-shirt
Republic.
hoodie.
It's a Banana Republic. There's nothing cheap about it at all.
You fucking stick a banana up your
Quality,
ass.
nice fucking quality
Okay, you're
materials.
banana. You're okay, banana
You're
boy.
fucking Long Johns.
All right, banana
You know
boy.
where's Long Johns? Your old stinky uncle.
Yeah,
You're wearing Long Johns right now.
Okay. You're the one Vato that chops a Banana Republic.
Who gives a fuck?
Vato Republic.
Because what do I gotta shop? We gotta wear Dickies? For who? I'm only slightly Vato. I'm Vato when it counts, when it matters.
All right. Well, here's my question. When was the last time? This is a great question. When was the last time you had
What do you think? Vatos don't eat bananas?
a beer? And I asked that because
This weekend.
Well, there you go.
No, I did.
Okay, no. So there's your answer.
I went and visited Kevin K. Diddy. Shout out. I was in New Jersey though, so
Yeah.
you know,
of course.
When in Jersey, you gotta have pizza. You gotta have Taylor ham, which I didn't have. You got to have a beer.
How was
a brouhaha.
how was Johnny Napkin's pizza?
I didn't have Johnny Napkins. I had other pizza. I had Sun Tavern pizza, which is good.
How on earth did you go to New Jersey, not have Taylor
I
ham?
didn't have enough time to do all those things. That's why I only did
You don't
broadcast.
stack your days like I do.
Behind the velvet rope. I wanted chill time, relaxed time. I haven't seen my family in 2 years. I wasn't trying to do an award tour, represent Zent, A Tribe Called Quest style. You know, I was trying to fucking chill out and take it in and relax and
I got you.
And enjoy my family.
Well, I want to hear
but
that.
I had, does this count?
I guess so.
I wanted a black and tan because I haven't had one in a long time. And Diddy suggested a snake bite, which is cider and Guinness.
Ooh, tasty.
Not bad.
I'm just saying, when was the last time you had a beer? Because I think between
An actual brouhaha? Like on tap or in the bottle?
An actual brouhaha.
In the helmet or in the tap or in the bottle?
Anyway, can, bottle, bottles and cans, or just clap your hands. Either way, because I'm asking that because
When's the last time you had a Bud? Is the question. I haven't had a fucking straight up Budweiser.
I'm saying, because over the last 2 years,
yeah,
I've had mixed drinks, I've had ciders, I've had plenty of seltzers, and I've had edibles. I don't think I've had a beer. Possibly in. Is it possible I haven't had like because of the seltzer rage?
I'll tell you, despite
People have not had beers, and I say that because what used to be, I brought over a 6-pack or I brought over a case of beer. So many times where I would have casually had a beer, I feel like I've had a seltzer.
Yeah, same. We've traded beer for seltzer and cocktails, maybe an old fashioned, some whiskey, you know, nice wine. Despite popular belief, I do like a nice beer.
And by the way,
savor it and try different ones.
A couple people asking what's a black and tan for those that don't know.
Really?
Jason Brown said black and tan? Question mark?
That's when me and him are hanging. It's Bass Ale topped off with Guinness. I thought that was common knowledge. But you know what? Fantastic. If you're going to ask me what I like better, I appreciated the suggestion. I'm glad I had the snake bite. I'm pretty sure I had a snake bite before. But I like a black and tan better. Just a mix of it, the Bass and the Guinness. Give it a try if you never had it.
But if you are into seltzers or, like hard alcohol.
I haven't had beer in a while. I can tell you that.
I think there's a good chance I haven't had a beer in 2 years. Since the pandemic, right?
I can't make fun of you for that. I agree.
Because anytime we've gone out, I probably had some.
It's not my go-to.
If we go out to a nice dinner, I probably have some sassy cocktail.
But is it out of vanity or is it out of?
No, because I just don't. I don't prefer it.
For me, it's straight up 100%. Like I don't want to waste the calories.
If I'm home, I'm having an edible or a seltzer. If I'm at a restaurant, I'm usually having like I'll have the specialty Moscow Mule you have, or I'll have like a vodka soda or something like that. A beer. I can't tell the last time I was like, hey bartender, beer please. It's been years, I think. Snake bites. I thought a snake bite was Yukon Jack and lemon juice.
Maybe that's cocktail. As far as draft or, when you're at the bar and you want a beer, it's cider. I guess any cider they have on tap with Guinness on top. And it's good. It's good. But I do like the black and tan better.
Yeah. I bet you a lot of people are thinking, oh, shit, when was the last time I had a beer too? So, Matt hit us up saying, ever since seltzers became the rage, at first I was skeptical, but now...
Same.
Now if I drink a beer, I feel bloated and disgusting.
Same.
And I'm like, you know
That's
what? Let me
it.
have a seltzer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, that's where we're at. If you're not drinking spiked seltzers, then where the fuck you at? All right. Thanks for all the feedback. Lots of fun feedback today. We could talk football all day. I'm sure we'll touch on it again because Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Eagles.
Well, just give me your pick, and then we'll focus on butt cheeks and life and TV and life.
Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Yeah.
What's the point spread on this bad boy? What do you think? It's Cowboys. I didn't even check. Cowboys by 3, maybe?
I was going to say by 7.
Cowboys by 3.5.
3.5. Cowboys.
Ooh, that hook. Meaning that half a point?
Yeah.
Because those division games could be close, so.
All right, so.
I don't know. I'm not touching it. I think that's a game
I
you
like
just
the
watch
Cowboys.
and
I'm not
enjoy.
a Cowboys hater. I grew up liking them, and I followed them on Hard Knocks this season, so even more invested, excited to see what they got against the Eagles. That's tonight. We will touch on it, but I implore you to please check out our Fox Sports Radio podcast.
Yeah.
I'm so fired up about this. I think it's exactly what we should be doing, and Rich brings really great energy on that show. Because he's in his wheelhouse of teaser town and football, and it's fun, man.
Yeah.
Please check it out. The link is at Covino and Rich on our Twitter page. Subscribe to it. I think you'll like it. Even if you're just a casual sports fan, it's a fun show. And, we're not getting all nerdy about it and shit. I think you'll like it.
You'll definitely enjoy it. It's just an extra Covino Rich podcast to listen to. More content. Hey,
it is. And they've made it really comfortable for us, and I appreciate that.
Wrap up this conversation with the answer to one question. Not at a restaurant, not at a bar. You're not having margaritas at Tequila or...
I drink Antonio Margaritos, bro.
You're not at Casa Vega or Tequila.
I'm macho like that. I don't do the margaritas.
You're not at a fancy dinner with Jordan or us.
Margaritos.
You're at home. What is the best canned cocktail or beverage? Because I have an answer. And for me,
canned
High Noon watermelon.
Yeah. I'm on
the
that.
High Noon watermelon might be. If you were to
Spot
say
was here, he'd yell at you. I just want you to know that.
Why?
He would drop his mouth. He would huff and puff.
Why?
Because he would say he's told you this. That's his wife's shit for a long time.
Oh, I've had it probably before him. It was
Yeah,
a port.
I've
It was
said
a Portnoy was promoting that like a year ago.
I know,
remember.
but he's been shouting about it. You just haven't been listening.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not
saying,
he's not the inventor of High Noon, but High Noon watermelon I think might be the go-to.
Good. It is really good.
That might be the one.
Like even Jordan's like, this is really good. Like it's really good. So
Crystal saying she's digging the sports show, and she's not a diehard sports fan. We bring the fun, and I think that's the catch. Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors. It's like we're talking football and baseball and sports, but really we're just having fun, bullshitting.
Now I have a question that
I have a deeper question.
Okay, give me your deep question because I have something that's totally off this topic.
I'm not going to forget mine, and you will. So
I have mine written down. So if you want to go, be my guest.
Just like last week when we were going to talk about penis hair. And you forgot?
It's not hair on your penis. It's women who style their hair to look like a big penis on their head.
Yeah.
I don't think there was really much of a conversation.
I feel like I got penis hair right now. I got
do.
this one hair just like flopping into my head.
Right,
But anyway, Steve in Texas says, Topo Chico and strawberry vodka. Jay Bott says, Deadeye Dickie loves High Noons. Don't you, Dickie? Dos Equis Amber is very underrated from Gabriel Moreno.
Hello,
Kevin
Gabe.
Perkins, shout out. Is High Noon the vodka seltzer? Yes.
Yeah.
But it's made with vodka and actual fruit juices. No syrupy, artificial garbage. And you can actually taste it. Like it's like, this is good.
Jen.
Rich is right about that. I'm sorry, Spot and his wife were right about that.
Jen, the Truly Fruit Punch. There's a guy I play softball with that brings like a 6-pack of those to softball on Sunday. They really are. He's like, yo, bro, have one. I have one.
Lionel Richie owns that, right?
They're tasty as hell.
Lionel Richie owns that?
Truly? Yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
I don't think you knew that.
I did, yeah.
All right, so you want to go with me or your question?
You go.
You had a question?
Age before beauty.
But you said
as Rocky once said, age before beauty.
You said you had a question, though.
It's a relationship one. It's like not a friend in need, but it's a.
I'll do that.
There's a couple things I want to get to. So,
give me your relationship question.
Or a meme that I want you to comment on.
Okay, well then I think we're on the same page.
All right, go ahead.
Change my mind?
Good, you changed my mind. You go first.
Okay. Rich, this is totally in your wheelhouse.
Okay, let's go.
There's nothing more in Rich's wheelhouse than what I'm about to say. Rich loves tease bets and he loves smut, right? So here's a smutty Rich Davis style question.
Ooh, okay.
If kids are around, cover their ears.
Why would kids be around? That's terrible.
I'm
parenting.
sorry. If my mom's listening, change the channel. What gets Rich fired up more? Talking tease bets or smut? Ready?
Already.
Change my mind. According to Tyler LeBlanc, one of our Carls, Covino and Rich listener, Tyler LeBlanc posts facts. He's speaking facts right now. You ready for this? Are you ready, kids?
Is Tyler Matt's weak cousin?
Yes. Tyler LeBlanc.
Yeah. My cousin was on Friends. I have none.
Steven Texas says, you get more fired up about smut than football.
Okay, let's see. Give me your hypothetical. Give me your question.
Rich gets crazy eyes when you talk about those things. Oh, oh! And fake titties, because he's the expert.
I like
And
everything.
weed now. Now it's weed.
All right, go on. Not weed.
Edibles.
Go on.
A slutty 7. A slutty 7
Okay. Let me write this down.
is hotter than a 10 who only does missionary.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Hold on, let me say this again.
I don't think this is the
A
discussion.
slutty 7 is hotter than a 10 who only does missionary. Change my mind. Do we all agree on this? As I sip my coffee like the guy in the meme.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure anyone would take the 10 that just lays there.
You'll never fall in love with a slutty 7, though. The 10 who does missionary, beautiful 10. That's the thing.
Well, everyone's got their own gauge of what they consider a 10 or what they even consider a 7 or 8.
You have to use your own gauge.
Your own gauge, because there are times people send us a picture. Like,
Yeah, people got naced.
like I remember back in the day.
You guys have naced.
Back in the day when people were a little more like kiss and tell and vulgar, and we were like in our 20s and
yeah,
stuff. Like
you're-
people would be like,
it's what young people do.
People be like, yo, look at this girl I'm banging, and they'd send
It's
us a
also
picture.
part of our culture a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were working for Maxim and doing
Right.
events with Playboy and
It's a
Penthouse.
different, it's a different vibe.
But when we were younger men, I remember guys would try to impress us and be like, hey, look who I'm banging. And I'd be like, yo, he sent this like he was proud of it. And a lot of times what you wouldn't touch, someone else thinks is like a 10.
Right.
And then there's, vice versa.
It's all relative.
There are people that you find attractive that other people would be like, I don't find that attractive at all. In fact, every time people post pictures of girls on our Covino Rich page, I'm amazed what people think is hot or not. It just shows that there's
Different tastes.
there's a lid for every jar. There's a
Different people have different tastes.
there's a cap for every bottle, because what I think is gross, you think is hot, and sometimes what I think is hot, you think is gross.
Baseline Trey says 100.
Yeah.
Suborn Music Enterprises.
So
What's up?
I think the slutty 7 over the 10 that's lame in the bedroom. I can't imagine.
But that's it's a temporary sort of hot. Because again, if you have certain expectations, that slutty 7, and I'm only saying this for the other flip side of the argument, because I'm not denying this sentiment, right? I get
Okay.
it. I actually agree with it. There's something about this that screams truth, facts.
Yeah.
But that girl who appears hotter because she leads with lust and sexuality and everything, and she's 7, which is solid. You're always looking for the 10 or the upgrade to you, whatever that is. And you're just with her because you're having fun for the most part. You're not settling with that girl.
I don't know, man.
You're
Not
settling
everyone,
with that girl?
I mean,
I don't think
the
so.
reality is
I don't think you have.
what people. There are people that are never going to get a 10, right? Like a 10 in their
But
mind,
a 10 to them.
A 10 to them.
Yeah, so
I
everybody's
don't
capable
know.
of
I
a 10
think,
to whatever that is to them.
I think you'd be happier with a 7 that was.
That's a better question.
I think you'd be happier
Who
with
would
a
you
7.
be happier
I
with?
think it'd be a boring 10.
Well, maybe that's just
You know,
means
it's like
she's a nice person.
Flip it on.
Maybe she's
flip
a
it
good
on the
person.
lady. Flip it on the ladies.
She's got a morality. You know, she's not going to be treated slutty that way.
Well-
I'm just giving you the flip side.
Lynn, I want to flip it for Lynn
Go ahead.
and the ladies that listen. We have a lot of women support here.
Of
What
course.
about if you flip it? Do women want the handsome guy that's super attractive, but he's sort of like a dud and like a two-pump chump? Or do they want the guy that's like maybe not as attractive, but he really fucking puts the effort in and pleases?
I'm a 3-pump chump. Because I go,
Covino-
double up, that's
Covino's
3.
Covino's the 10 that lays there, guy version.
Yeah. Solid 7.
I mean, I think a slutty 7 over a lame 10 is going to be 9 out of 10 people's answer. A boring 10 is the type of girl you just want to bring to like a work event where it's like, hey, here's a new girl I'm dating. She's a model. But if that girl's like a dud in bed, it's really just for personal appearances.
Now,
You rather the girl that. Do you want the girl that's like, turn off the lights? Like, don't look at me. Like, even there's good-looking girls that show those insecure moments, right?
Ew.
Do you want the 7 that's a freak?
You don't want to hear
the
ew
or do you want the
Yuck.
or do you want the 10 that's like not now? Ooh, oh. Like, come on, no one wants that. So I'm gonna say the lame 10.
But
No, and by the way, Kim says a rich 6 is better than a broke 10, which by the way leads
that
to
would be the
Yeah.
flip side
Yeah.
to this argument, I think. That's a great one. Thank you. Who said that? Kim.
Oh, look at this.
Kim- Kim
Like
Giles.
Like our boy Daniel said, I'm a 3, but ladies, I'll make the sexy time worth it. I mean, no woman wants to be with a guy, and vice versa, who is really just a dud. Greg Kelly saying 10 for a night, 7 for life.
dud. It's such a great, because I think of fireworks, and it is a letdown. You're like, and then nothing happens.
With, trying not to sound like a
Don't
perv.
be a dud.
Trying not to sound like a perv.
What do you mean? You're best at that.
I am. You're right.
Why would you stop?
Trying not to sound like a perv, but when I think back to my single days,
Your craft single days?
I hate craft singles.
No, you
In
don't.
fact, you know what bothers
You're
me?
Mayor McCheese.
No, what bothers me about craft singles? When we have cheeseburgers on the grill,
Yeah.
like Sarah and the kids have craft singles, and I get like pepper jack or cheddar or some other I'm like who, Sarah's like, it's a cheeseburger. It's American cheese. I'm like, on a cheeseburger, fucking pepper jack or Swiss or some other shit. I don't want an American cheese. Ugh. Anyway, in my single days, my craft single days, I remember those times where you were with the really good-looking girl, and she was sort of like, and I remember being like, well, her body looks great, but this is sort of like uneventful. But then there were times where a girl might not have been perfect looking, because listen, no one's perfect. Let's say the girl was like attractive, but wasn't a 10.
She goes like this. She barely sticks her tongue out.
Yeah, like a little lizard.
Yeah. She treats your wiener like a hot potato. Anyway, this is another great question, Rich. My boy, Dave Castillo, on his way to $10 million, my guy, Fantos Locos, says, would you prefer a natural 7 or a plastic 10?
Oh, plastic 10.
Really?
Plastic 10 100% of the time. I'm plastic.
But then you're not getting the nice
Doesn't bother me at all. Get the fuck out of here.
MWFs.
Get the hell. Those become, you know what those become late in life? Like fucking down to your knee granny titties. No one wants that.
Yeah, but
But if a girl, so I think a girl that's beautiful.
throw them over your shoulder like a continental soldier.
Don't be silly. It's ridiculous talk.
All right, well, there you go, David.
A 7 that tries hard, that is like willing and wanting to please and have fun and be like all flirty and sexual. That girl will be better than the good-looking 10 every single time.
The only thing I disagree, I agree with Rich, because I'm taking it for what it is. I'll read it one more time.
Unless I have an exception.
A slutty 7 is hotter than a 10 who only does missionary. Changed my mind. Yes, those are facts, but I'm never settling for the slutty 7. Just not. I'm not going to be with that. I guess the obvious answer is like Rich chose somebody for a reason, right? So if you read between the lines, Sarah's no 7 by any means. The obvious answer here is to find that great balance. It's like setting up your characters in a video game.
Yeah, it's
Do
like
I want more power or more speed?
Do you remember
I want more strength, more power?
Remember Nintendo double drip? No, it was Nintendo hockey.
Any of those or Ring King boxing?
No, Nintendo hockey is the best example. Do you want the skinny guy that skates fast, the fat guy that's strong?
If you played Ring King, that would be the best example.
So I don't know. I think you got to find someone that has the same sexual style you do.
But you're never going to end up with that person. You'd rather be with the 10 because
it's a good
she does
hypothetical.
missionary, and so what? She's a good person, it seems.
Yeah.
She's a 10. 10s don't have to work as hard. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You got to work a little harder for that 10.
But you know what?
That's just the balance that the 10 provides.
I think that you would tire of the 10 real quick.
Look what Kyle says.
Kyle
10 who
knows
only
nothing.
does missionary is different than 10 who's a dud.
Well, someone
Is
that only
missionary
does
that bad?
someone that only does missionary, I would say, is a dud. If that's what the girl, it just lays there. Anyway, long story short is that
Too late.
you will, truthfully, this is the reality, real talk. Bree, Alex, Stefan, Crystal, you guys ready for real talk? Lisa, you ready? I think the reality is that no matter who you date or marry, you will tire of them to a level. No one's going to be like, wow, the first time we were together is just as good as the 1,000th time we've been together. It's never as exciting as it was in the very beginning. So if you have the 10 and you have the 7, once you get with the 10 a few times,
The 10 is nice arm candy, though.
But
nice
that's
ego stroke. Nice ego
I had
boost.
one final thought. The 10,
A little bit of a trophy makes you feel good when you're out and about. The 7, you're like, what do you got to do? You got to tell all your friends and family. You got to justify it. Be like, yeah, I know she's a 7. But you should see the
wow. Gymnastics in the bedroom.
Whoa.
I think the 10 is great for a very asexual person. Because if you're not really caring about that stuff much, because there's people that are pretty asexual. If you're an asexual type of person, then take the person that's good to look at. But if you want that passion and that love, I'd say go for the 7 that puts a little more effort into it, a little more Alex efforts into it.
Better question. Would you rather have an 8 in a Banana Republic hoodie or a 9, an 8.5 in a really piece of shit fucking Long John's
shirt,
Bud
bro.
Light hand-me-down
shirt.
fucking freebie from 8 years ago? Ladies, what says you?
How dare you?
What says you?
You're more likely to be miserable if you marry someone that thinks they're a 10. Agreed, 100%, Joe. One of my
these are all great things to piggyback on, but
I think my
that wasn't the question.
My
but-
favorite characteristic of my wife is that she has zero ego whatsoever. Like Sarah's never been like, I'm pretty. I'm like, I've dated girls that are hot but talk about themselves being hot, and it was such a turnoff. I remember, like, if a hot girl's like, yeah, I'm hot, I'm like, oh, you got a little less hot by saying that. Kim's going with the Banana Republic hoodie.
That's what's up?
Yeah.
Vatos
You know why, Kim?
Vatos eat bananas.
You know why, Kim?
We just don't deep throat them like Rich does.
You know why Kim likes you?
Why?
She's a big fan of black and tan.
Yeah, she is.
You and Kim.
Yeah, buddy.
You and Kim. By the way, what a great couple name for a couple where one person's Hispanic and one's black.
Black and tan. Zush, you got to realize we're exploring the conversation, bro. I actually agree with Rich. I'm exploring the conversation. Why do we got to spoon feed everybody? He says, by that logic, Covino, isn't that like the guy who drives the BMW to impress others? Oh, okay. You're not necessarily saying me. All right, Zush, I take it back.
Dude.
Yes, it's not great logic. I'm just saying there are pros and cons to the scenario. So yeah, it's not good logic. I agree with you. I'm sorry, Zesh. Not sure what happened there.
Won't happen.
It is.
again.
It is the same logic.
Yeah,
right
Alex
about
Efforts is getting a ton of shout outs today. You know what? There is something to be said about long term versus short term, right? Like, because long term, no one's. I always call bullshit on the couple that's like, we still have sex every day. I'm like, in what universe? I just don't know anyone that's cut from that cloth, and that cloth is Long John. Do you know anyone cut from the cloth where they're grown up with kids and families and life, and they're like, yeah, we still fuck every day? It's like,
Isn't
who
it
does
called like
that?
waffle print? Is that like waffle
Stop
something?
touching my waffle print.
Is that a waffle print shirt? Waffle something.
By the way,
it's a
don't-
waffle stomp.
Never get with someone that thinks they're hot. I agree. Ken Smith, you ain't kidding, buddy boy.
There's a difference between confidence and just arrogance, I guess.
Yeah. Rick Martel had arrogance.
Right. You want confidence.
Yeah.
So it's a great conversation starter. I'm telling you, the only place I disagree with you on is you're not settling with the slutty 7. Because do you want to be with
slutty
someone
pumpkin?
slutty anyway? No. You want to have fun. She appears hotter because that sexual vibe is there. But like, you're never really taking that person serious. That's where I disagree with
it's
you.
like, all right, what if the 10, I don't want to say anything vulgar while you're sipping your drink. I might make you spit it out like clutching your pearls like an old lady. What about if I'm telling you the 10? I mean, we're talking this girl's lights out, gorgeous.
Lights out like Sean Merriman? And if she's that gorgeous.
Does Sean Merriman know how many times you give him a lights out shout out?
And if she's that gorgeous, why the lights out?
That's a good question. What if the girl's a 10, but she's like lights out and you're like, but I can't even see what I'm doing? You're a 10. That's part of the fun.
Purpose.
Yeah. What if the 10 is going down on you? And you're right. She's treating it like your cum is lava. Down. Oh, hi, Sarah.
You want me to bring coffee?
Yeah. Can you please bring me a coffee refill? I love you.
No.
Why?
Fucking most misogynistic fucking conversation I've heard in fucking forever.
It was Rich's
Yeah,
idea. Just
my
saying
idea.
that. Rich wanted to really, he was like, Covino, bring this up.
What the hell is she talking about? Misogynistic. Just like great conversation.
Jordan says your shirt is really whack.
Well, tell Jordan his fucking face is whack.
I just don't get it. Jordan Brodsky, what's up, buddy? Covino is the guy who still sharts out Sean Merriman. We get along. He's a
Yeah,
good guy.
Sean
He actually
Merriman.
hit me up recently. He's like, yo, my man. I was like, what's up, Sean? Swear to God. He's like, yo, you mind retweeting this for me? I was like, yeah.
Can I tell you? Sean
You think I
Merriman-
care? Of course.
Sean Merriman is one of those few guys that over the years, like, I don't
liked
think
me.
we've ever talked about our friendship with Sean
He
Merriman.
liked us, yeah.
He likes us. What are you going to
But we had him on his rookie season, so he may remember us from that. It might have meant something to him.
Oh, like we're talking like years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, damn.
I'm talking like Mohawk, Young, Sean Merriman, and we had him on our TV show several
By
times.
the way, how dare my wife say this is misogynistic?
Well, it
conversation.
is, but it's fun banter.
All right, so
I had
the 10.
Do you
hold
know
on, I was in the
once-
middle of something.
Okay.
The 10 that treats your penis like your cum is lava, and it's like, and she's like, meh.
Sounds really
like
vulgar.
like lazy blowjob.
Like a lazy Sanchez, like
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
It's
She
called
gives
the
you-
lazy Sanchez.
She gives you a lazy one.
yeah, lazy Sanchez. You know, doesn't
Ranking
want.
women by physical appearance isn't misogynistic at all. What is Sarah thinking? I agree with you, Kate.
It's a meme. It's not.
We're discussing
a meme.
We're discussing a meme. God damn, you can't even have a
Can't even have a fucking meaningful conversation.
So
anymore.
a lazy 10 versus a slutty 7. What would you rather, Sarah? A lazy 10 or
a 7 in a Bud Light hoodie that he got 9 years ago for free on a national broadcast.
Honestly, I think this is Sarah's hoodie.
That's yours, bro.
It's Sarah's.
Really? That's even more pathetic, to be honest.
Sarah got it. It's
I
like
guess
her-
guess what? I never wore my fucking girlfriend's hoodie ever. Like,
Would you rather a guy, Sarah, that isn't attractive but he like tries really hard to please you versus a guy that's like a model with abs but he just sort of like lays there?
You just described like a selfish person though in the second scenario. So why would I want
Yeah, but the 10, we're assuming the 10, that's the whole point. Do you rather someone that's just so aesthetically good looking, like guy with abs and a perfect penis and he's all fucking ripped, versus like a guy that's like but he's like really going at it, trying to please you?
I'd go for the less selfish person. You're describing
Yeah, the less selfish person. Yeah, because by definition, then the slutty 7 is better than
is
the.
more giving. That's what you're saying. A more giving.
Sarah, you're answering the question. You're just answering it a different way. She's like, you just don't like the word slutty.
It's a harsh word.
I'm sorry. The fucking giving 7 versus
It's just
the
I'm
lazy
just
10.
reading the meme. Yeah.
Who wears their wife's clothes?
Rich.
We share. Sarah wears my socks. I mean, it's a hoodie she got back in the day that was clearly too big on her, so she'll wear it when she's like lounging around because it's like a.
I get it.
Women
I
wear,
don't-
like,
I'm not
you're a
judging
girl-
you
no
wearing
girl-
it
no
lounging
girl-
around. I get it as I don't get it as it's your choice. Like you chose to wear this for our broadcast today.
I've wore way worse stuff.
Okay.
You're acting like a 7 is not 3 points away from a 10. Maybe you make it a 5 versus a 10 because a 7
We're
is still
reading
good.
the meme.
It's a meme,
seven's
guys.
not-
Let's move
Yeah,
on
but
from the meme.
A 7's solid, and again, this.
All right, there you go.
It's a very. She's right. Sarah's right. Now I feel dirty about this conversation.
Adventurous 7.
You ever date a girl? I swear to
Adventurous
God.
7.
Well,
Oh.
actually, I know your story. I dated it when I was single, right?
Again,
I dated a girl who said that she doesn't do the nasty dance.
what is the
the,
nasty dance? Is there a dance I know of? Is it Macarena?
It used
Is
to
it
be-
the
actually,
is
it
it
was a
the
song.
electric slide? Is it
She
the
didn't
nasty
do-
dance? Is it the Cupid shuffle? Is it the paso doble?
She didn't go down like a circus seal.
Oh,
She didn't
Gotcha.
do that. And I was like, come again? She's like, no. I'm like, why not?
how about the first time?
She said she didn't. And it always was like, really? What would you do if this girl seemed perfect,
Well, then that
but she
means
said no to certain things?
that means, you know what that means then? It means you'll end up doing something dumb because if you date, let's say you like, give me something bizarre. Let's say something weird, fun. It could be minuscule. Let's say you like, I'm going to even not make it sexual. Let's say you like back rubs
Back rubs.
and the girl you're with is like, ew, I'll never give a back rub. Then eventually you don't think you're going to want a back rub in your life. So you're probably going to go somewhere to get a back rub.
Interesting.
Right.
All right.
The forbidden dance.
Well, that's
There you go.
that's our smut convo. I just, you got to feed Rich some things that are in his wheelhouse every once in a while.
Yeah.
You got to see, you see
But I
kids,
was
the
saying,
crazy
like,
eyes.
the 10, the 10 that treats it like it's poison, versus the 7 that looks like the antidotes in it. You don't think there's a difference? All right.
Again, this is according to a meme on the Carl page. A slutty 7 is hotter than a 10 who does only missionary.
Hold
Change
on.
my mind.
I got to ask Caleb a question.
hotter, but again, you'll never settle down for that.
I honestly, I want to talk to Caleb a second.
And the best answer, Kate, you could talk to Caleb all day. I'm wrapping it up. I'm done with this. If it's a video game, you're trying to find that perfect balance. Like, yeah, she's like a 10 in my mind, but she's really like a 9. But and sexually, she's like an 8. I could settle for that. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to find that right balance.
I hate
That's the right answer.
I hate the idea of settling. You're right, but I'm not saying like go cheat or do dumb things. What I'm saying is, if you really like something in particular, if you choose someone that doesn't like that, the likelihood of you doing something dumb is more, right? Like, if you're like, hey, I like stuff in my, if someone's like, I like butt play, and you're like, yeah, I don't do that.
Isn't that who Spotty saw over the weekend?
Yeah, Spot went to, he thought he was going to see Coldplay, but it was a cover band, butt play.
Oh man, yeah. I hope he didn't pay a lot for those tickets.
But if some girl was like, you know what I love? Butt play. And a guy's like, yeah, I'm not into that at all. Then you don't think that person, that's a bad match. If someone's like, I like really, I don't know, intimate, whatever it is, you can name the sexual act. If the person you're with doesn't like what you like, it's not good news. Ta-da! The end. All right, there you go. Slutty pumpkins.
Well, there you go. That's our smutty conversation of the day.
Well, I have one more that's not slutty, but it sort of ties in if you want to. I want to do a little more relationship stuff. I'm footballed out.
Oh, let's read what Drew Mack the Handsome says, though. He says, sex is important to me. I'd take a 7 that was fun in the bedroom over a 10 any day. Hey, look, to each his own, provolone. I get that. You're searching for the right balance.
Yeah.
That's the real answer here.
Oh.
It's just not fun to speculate the real answer.
Who did I want to fight before I made my next point?
Caleb.
Oh, he said, you're wearing a Bud Light hoodie on a streaming service. And I'm thinking to myself,
and it might be Sarah's, but we got that at an event.
But first of all, why, you have this?
I remember when you got it. I was there. We got it at one of our events.
I thought Sarah got it. All right. Well, so my first thought is, if you didn't bring it up, no one would have mentioned it. No one would have been like, man, Rich is wearing a Bud Light shirt?
No. People have eyes. What do you mean? You think I'm bringing attention to that?
But I'm amazed.
It says right on your fucking thing.
Yeah, but in my mind, Bud Light football, it's a Bud Light football shirt that they gave away at a Super Bowl. Like it's a nice hoodie. It's comfortable. I love it. I wear them again to take a walk. But you'll wear like some free Vato looking shirt that some guy bought you or something, or someone sent you, or it
doesn't mean it's free. It doesn't mean that's like saying it's a gift. That doesn't mean it's not a nice shirt.
No, but my
just because I didn't pay for it.
My thought is like,
because it's a lame advertisement. It's free swag.
Yeah, I'm not following. I think like I wear this out and about. Like I'm way more embarrassed to wear like a million other things besides this. Like I would wear this anywhere.
I'm not saying you shouldn't wear that shirt. I'm saying like you would wear that like on a broadcast. You don't see the difference? Lisa's saying a shirt's fine.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I look at it like
function over fashion is how Rich rolls.
Not really. I think it's a good looking shirt too. It's like it looks distressed, like it's old school looking. It's like an old Bud Light logo. I don't know. I don't think it's I find no embarrassment in this shirt. Secondly, I have a message here that I wanted to read. This is not...
Andrew Hart makes a good point. Covino supporting small businesses sometimes are things that he supports. You haven't had a Bud Light since college.
True.
Yeah, usually I'll wear something because I like that brand. But just because they sent it to me or it was free doesn't mean like I don't like it. It was just a gift.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
How do you not see the difference? I don't get that. Like I have a sweet Stillhouse t-shirt that I wear all the time.
Yeah.
But like I don't
Stillhouse is like a free alcohol shirt we got, right?
Yeah, but it was a nice t-shirt, right?
Yeah,
like I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like this is a nice sweatshirt.
It's a nice sweatshirt. It is.
This
I'm
isn't
not denying
like
it. This is a great piece of swag.
Yeah, this is like an.
But I'm not wearing like my Stillhouse shirt intentionally.
But I'm saying to compare this to like the free men's extra large Visa t-shirt they shoot out of a cannon at a game. It's a different level of freebie. This is.
I'll give you that.
This is part of like a press pack. This wasn't like, hey, we're giving away sweatshirts. This is part of like they gave members of the press or something like at a Bud Light hotel. I think there's a level of freebies, right? All right.
I agree with that.
This is from no one. This is from a random girl on social media, and there's a question that's floating around. Yeah, by the way, that little doom doo doo doo. The people are hearing that? Was that something popping up on Spot's computer?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's probably his daily alerts of shit on Rich.
Oh, and then the next one was like insult Covino's intelligence.
Yeah.
Then it was like make the guys feel bad.
Oh, 10 minutes have gone by.
Oh,
Let me shit on Rich now.
Oh wait, more time has gone by. You know what it's time for now? To passive
it's time
aggressively to insult.
Time to flex.
Time to flex. Okay. All right. Let me walk in front of the camera.
This
All
is
right.
daily reminders.
Wait, hold on. Time to walk and get coffee, but on the way, stop and flex. All right. Well, hold up. Boom, doo doo doom. Another alarm went off. Insult Covino's intelligence and make him feel small.
I agree.
Boom, ba boom. Oh, make fun of something Rich did and make him make him look dumb. Doom, doo doom. Flex again. Doom, doo doom. Flex one more time.
I was just joking. You're really diving into this.
All right. Lisa says she has panic attacks when everyone gangs up on me. Don't, Lisa, because I don't. It's a drive or something. Reconnecting, connecting with a USB. That's what that sound is. Boom, boom, boom.
When there's a ghost in the studio.
All right. I think this is a great topic because I feel like these are the type of things that get people fired up. And before I even read this really amazing message, because I feel like we're going to have a good conversation about this, I want to ask you a question because you've been there, done that. Not your Indian friend, been there, done that.
Because I've been there. I've done that.
You've been married. You got married in Vegas.
I did? Yeah.
You saved a lot of money.
I did. No, I lost it all in divorce.
I know, but I'm saying like you saved a lot of money.
Even some of my 401k, which hurt my feelings. But that's just, hey, that's the system.
Yeah.
Spot's fucking around. I see what he's doing.
Oh, he could do it remotely?
That's what he's doing, yeah.
But he has it on the wrong thing.
What?
Oh.
He's a sly one. He's a sly one.
Oh, he's doing it from a remote
He has
location.
to be, because I just saw Kim Jong-un and Robbie Rotten pop up. That shit's funny. Good one, Spotty.
You've been there, done that. You got married. You saved a lot of money. You got married in Vegas. You never got your ex like an engagement ring.
I got her a really fucking expensive ring.
I know,
though.
but not like an engagement ring.
Not
a
an
diamond.
engagement ring.
You got a nice ring, but not a diamond.
There was like diamonds on it.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, not an engagement ring.
Why are you arguing
saying-
me for no reason? You got a
Because
nice ring. You got her a nice
you're
piece of
making me
jewelry.
out to be like some cheap guy.
I'm not. I'm stating facts. You never got married in a.
So am I. I'm stating my facts.
Right, but your facts are you never
Right.
got an engagement ring
Correct.
and you never got married, so you saved a ton of money.
I did get married.
I'm sorry, you never got married in front of like friends and family and stuff like that. You got married in Vegas.
Yes.
So you got married in Vegas and you never got a conventional engagement ring.
Correct.
So you saved a lot of money. Again, you said lost in divorce.
And the ring
Not
I
to rub it
got
in.
was more expensive, a lot more expensive than most people pay for engagement rings.
Okay, I get it.
That's my point.
Okay. But I'm saying you saved a ton of money doing that. Now, weddings in general, as you get older, do you stand by the fact that like, hey, if someone wants their day and they want to get married and they want to have that special day and you could afford it, fucking do it? Like, do you start allocating money where it's like, well, the money you could have spent on a wedding, you could have spent on a down payment, or the money you spent on this, you could have spent on that? Because I don't think you could take money and say, if you didn't do this, you could have done this. Because I don't think
Why?
life works that way, does it?
Yeah, I think so. I always think you spent that much money on a wedding, that could have went toward the down payment on a home. You don't have those thoughts?
Yeah, but then no one would get married.
I think it's,
So you think everyone's irresponsible?
yeah, I think that's irresponsible. I think you could, have more of a modest, like, I think people are just so full of themselves. They think it has to be this gigantic celebration and they have to go overboard and, trying to keep up with the Kardashians.
I don't even think it's overboard, Kavino. I think it's just
you
weddings
have
in
a
general.
choreographer. You overspend, you overdo it.
Yeah,
where
but
that
that's
money
still-
could have
that's-
went right toward your life together on a home. If you have fuck you money, none of this applies. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. But this is an interesting one.
But you don't think that's the obvious thought there? That there's a lot of people that waste money on a wedding where it could have been used.
I don't think that way. Because
Wisely on an
I think
investment?
sometimes you could look at those things as those are the great. You only live once, right? So it's like you have a bank of memories, right?
Yeah, but like you're coming from a really fortunate scenario. There's a lot of people who.
Yeah, but Sarah and I spent a lot of money on our wedding.
Yeah, but you're also a guy that makes a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's also money that we could have spent on something else. So you could say
But
that
you
about
don't see how
anything.
this rule applies to people who don't make a lot of money, but yet they had this extravagant wedding.
Yeah, I guess it applies to people
It
more
applies-
so when they're broke, Covino. But people that are broke don't have really, really expensive weddings because you're not going to take out. No one takes out loans for a wedding. I'm saying I don't think you could compartmentalize and say. I think you can compartmentalize and say, listen, that was a wedding. Like that money was spent for a wedding. Like you can't be like, because know what you could say? Give me something you spent a lot of money on that you
It's
did for
priorities.
you. What did you do for you?
Okay.
Well, give me something you did. You bought Yeezys for like, let's say $800.
Nope. 700.
$700. Okay.
But not
Man,
even
you
my
are a
money.
stat boy. Okay.
That was,
wardrobe money.
It was wardrobe money. It was.
You could have cashed out that money and not used it on that.
I was trying to look fly on my TV show.
Point is, you could say about anything like, oh, you bought new golf clubs? $1,000? You could have put that towards your kid's education. You could say that about anything you spend money on, right?
But why is that wrong? It's a solid point.
But what I'm saying is you could make that slippery slope argument about everything. Like, yeah, you bought a new truck? Yeah, you like my new Ford F-150? No, you could have done. You could have bought like a really cheap car and put money towards your kid's education. Like,
I get your point. I get your point.
then-
But I still think that, again, it's priorities and to each his own. I get it. But the money you spent on a wedding, I'd say in retrospect for a lot of people, they'd probably say, yeah, I wish I would have took a lot of that money and put it towards a home.
There's a show called Marriage or Mortgage. I know, Lisa. I haven't really watched it, but I've seen it pop up. I'm sure that's sort of what they discuss. But the average couple spends, tens and tens of thousands of dollars on a wedding. And I saw someone put up, this is the first meme I want to talk about.
Okay.
There's a few things I want to get to. The first meme was, let's say you planned on spending, I'm going to pick a round number, $25K. Let's say you were going to spend $25K on your wedding, right? Someone said, instead of $25K on a wedding, think about what a $25,000 vacation would get you. Like, instead of having a wedding and a honeymoon, imagine you were like, I'm going to take my wedding money and just go on like the most elaborate pimp vacation baller experience ever. Like, I'm going to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks, but like spare no expense. Stay in the suite. Stay in, like take helicopter tours everywhere. Like,
Those are my options. And again, to each his own.
yeah.
If those were my options, I'm going with the experience
But like,
of seeing the world and all these beautiful
But like-
memories I'm going to create as opposed to the wedding.
like Preston, expensive weddings are whack. Such a waste. But a waste to who, right? You got to think. You put money to your kid's education?
Yeah.
You could spend that on nice golf clubs. See, like
Said
you can say
that.
it the other way too. Eric Medeiros. Some people feel like they spent the total right amount of money on a wedding. Some people, a lot of times cultures are traditional. Like Italian families or Greek families, like a big wedding is sort of part of the family get together and culture, right? Weddings
Spend
are
all that money.
If weddings are such
for
a
your
big waste of money,
fat Italian cousins that you probably don't even
but I'm
like.
saying if everyone says, how do I describe this? I'm trying to give me something everyone says. All right, everyone says, I fucking hate Nickelback. Yet they sell millions and millions of albums. Fuck Kanye West. I fucking hate Kanye. Donda is the #1 album in the world. So there's things that people say that they hate, but if everyone hates them so much,
I hate the Kardashians.
yeah, I hate the Kardashians. Do you mean the most influential fucking pop culture people on earth? Sadly enough, right? I hate the Kardashians. I hate Kanye. I hate Nickelback. Weddings are a waste. Are we all just one big contradiction? Or
Yeah.
like look at everyone saying like, yeah, you could travel Europe for 3 months on $25K. Easy decision. Then how come no one does it, Kyle? Sean, we had 450 people at our
Family
wedding.
pressures, tradition, but I think those things are slowly starting to change.
Look at this. Gabe saying his uncle dropped $15K on his cousin's quinceañera and then lost their house. Are you like, yeah, 65% of if 60% of marriages ended divorce, was the wedding a waste of money? I hate Nickelback, but I have all their albums. See, Alejandro, if that's true, you're the perfect example. I love the Kardashians. That's Crystal. I'm a little thrown off on how he pronounces Donda. Isn't it donde? You say donde? Isn't it donde like
donde está?
like donde está? It's the same. It's the same with most things. The people that like it don't speak up. The minority are haters and the vocal ones. That's a great answer, right?
Austin Arnold says Rich can't see past his nose.
But I don't even know what that means.
Means you're short-sighted. Things are changing. I agree. I think a younger generation doesn't prioritize marriage as much. We're going to see less and less of that.
I
People
see
want the
that.
experience. They're going to invest in something.
I see that, but Covino, what I'm saying though is all the things that we say are a waste or we don't like are the things we do, right?
Yeah.
Like
walking contradictions.
Are we all just big walking contradictions? Like, hey, you know, it's a waste of money. People talk all the time about like, like spend a lot of money on clothes and stuff like that. Like we'll talk about jeans, right? Let's say we have a conversation about jeans and Covino's like, yeah, you could get a nice pair of jeans, at, I don't know, Lucky for $80.
Rich is wearing Bud Light jeans.
And someone will say, I get my jeans for fucking $9 at Walmart. You guys made fun of my $9 sneakers.
Yeah, they're fucking weak, bro.
Yeah, but you know what?
Anyone would make fun of those.
But you know what? Then
homeless guys were laughing
Hold
at
on,
you.
but then when I come in and I'm like...
Guys with no shoes are laughing
all
at
right,
that shit.
you missed my point.
Go ahead. What's your point?
When I come in with $9 shoes, everyone's like, look at your fucking whack shoes. If I came in tomorrow, right? And I was like, yeah, I bought this fucking Varvatos jacket for $400. People would be like, what a waste of money. So it's like, what a waste of money. But then you made fun of me when I bought $9 shoes.
Well, your fucking Varvatos jacket doesn't go with those $9 shoes. So you got to find a compromise.
So
And balance, Daniel, son. Balance like Jack Palance. One-arm push-ups.
By the way, it's not like donde está.
Yeah, it's Don Duh.
It's donde.
According to IMK, Don Duh.
Did I say donde? Well, I say donde, Jason Brown.
There he goes. No.
Let's see. I'd rather have a big wedding with all the family there.
Yeah, hey, how could we? I wouldn't. I just wouldn't.
No, but I guess my point to wrap it up is...
But I could see how other people would.
We're a walking contradiction, and that's not to insult everyone. That's just to point out that all of us, Covino, myself, you, every single person watching and listening, has at one time, contradicted a major point in your life, like what you spend and waste money on, right? Someone could say, man, I would never waste all that money on a wedding. And then I'd love to be like, all right, let me see your receipts. Let me see what you're spending your money on, because I could probably tell you there's things you're wasting money on, right?
It's all preference, It's all preference. Everyone has different priorities, what they spend their money on.
If you could afford anything, do it, right? If you could afford it, then this conversation need not apply to you. Spend money on your house, your kids,
what was the original
trips, tangible
question
things.
posed here?
No, the original thing was, it actually has to do more so with another meme I saw or a little message that I want to get into. This was sort of like the precursor conversation. This is like the intro to what I'm going to get to. So I just think we're all a bit contradicting, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are in debt, yet they spend money. Like my biggest thing is, we've joked about this for years. People are in debt. People are broke, yet everyone has a smartphone.
It's funny how I saw some guy who said, and I'm not trying to be controversial here, but it is interesting. He's like, the biggest contradiction is hardcore religious people who spend hours a day at church talking about being accepting and forgiving and things like that. And all of their political beliefs are the exact opposite of what they're supposed to be leading with acceptance and loving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the biggest contradiction ever was some of the folks that were pushing, they were pushing abortion. It's not abortion. They were pushing no abortion, but then they were saying, don't tell me what to do with my body with the vaccine.
Yeah.
It's like, don't tell you what to do with your body with the vaccine, but now you're trying to vote to tell women what to do with their bodies? There are people that are just big contradictions.
When you see the religious beliefs of people, I'm not going to call out any specific religious belief, but when you see their religious beliefs and what the religion that they're so hardcore about promotes, and then you see how they react politically and what they believe in politically, it's an exact contradiction of what they're being taught at their church.
Yeah, and listen,
it's very odd.
That's why all of us, you, me, every single person, is slightly contradicting in
I'm
their
slightly
life.
vato. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
I try to stay consistent.
You are
I
slightly
try
vato.
my hardest.
But
That's where values and morality comes into play, and you poo-poo at that all the time. You know, you got to stand for something or you fall for everything, and then you become a walking
just a
contradiction.
saying.
It's not a saying, bro. You have to have lines that you live by. You know, you have to have a sense of values, and that, or else you do become a contradiction. I try to stay consistent. It's not easy. I do agree with what Rich is saying. We all contradict ourselves at one point. That's why I justified. Rich said I had all these expensive sneakers. I was like, yeah, but I didn't use my money. I used my company's money. I was justifying the contradiction.
Yeah, everyone justifies everything they do. But here's the message I wanted to read. And by the way, thanks for all the feedback. A lot of feedback today. I love it. This is from an unknown girl. It's just a cute little emoji of the girl. They crossed out her name. And I'm so curious what you think of this. Stop disrespecting women and asking them to marry you with these 1-carat rings. If you cannot afford a ring, you cannot afford a wife. It's bigger than being materialistic. It's about being able to see with your third eye. It's about being able to read between the lines. Marriage is sort of a business, whether you like it or not. Disney messed y'all's heads up with the happily ever after phrase. You cannot start a business without some type of financial backing. What can we do for each other? If you don't have enough money to spend on an inanimate object such as a ring, you are not ready to be investing in a business or marriage. So get back to the drawing board until you have the right money to buy a ring.
I mean, if you're going to approach this from the belief that it's a business, then she's right. But who approaches a marriage that way? Even though technically she's making a point, who approaches a marriage that way? Maybe you should. I'm just saying you don't. And that all depends on the woman too. Again, priorities, right? Not every woman, like Spot's wife, for example, she wasn't expecting a fucking $20,000, $30,000 ring. That's not what she wanted. It's not what she's about.
Yeah, Spot got his wife like a antique ring at a little shop. I went with him.
Right. So, you know, it all depends. I mean, I get the point.
I don't think it sounds high maintenance, Stefan, but it's one of those things that when someone says out loud, they look high maintenance, but
see, Bree is like, a marriage is not a business. What the fuck?
But there is something like, if some girl says, if you can't afford an engagement ring, then what type of lifestyle are we going to live?
You know what I think when she says that? You know, I think about how much more irresponsible people are having kids when they don't have a pot to piss in, as our parents' generation always said. You know, I think that is a bigger problem. Like, you got no money, but you're having all these kids, so you expect the fucking government to pay for you?
Well, that's a separate.
But that's more irresponsible to me than you fucking went and bought a ring.
Yeah. But
people making irresponsible decisions left and right.
Here's the question for you. If these things are irresponsible, right? Like spending money on big things. What if, because I don't know the answer to this. What if Jordan was like, I want a big wedding or I want a really nice ring? Would you be like, no, we could spend that money on
I'd rather get her a nice ring than a big wedding. I would.
On an inanimate object.
Yeah.
Opposed to an experience.
Yeah, I really would.
Okay. No, but I'm saying
sell the ring. The ring still has value. You know, that wedding came and went. People forgot about it. You know, it's nice. You could have a nice party, small ceremony, a nice party.
Well, that's the whole way. Yeah, I mean, the party, Covino, is what costs money. It's not the wedding. The wedding doesn't cost money. It's the reception that costs money.
No, I understand that, but I just mean a party. I don't mean like you have to fucking go all elaborate.
But what I mean, like, for instance, if you did get married, or anyone, what would you say to someone where their fiance was like, I want a really expensive wedding dress? Would you say thousands for a dress? You could spend that money on something better.
It's priorities, man. And it depends how much money you have. These are all relative questions. You know, they're hard to answer because I'm going to feel one way, but I understand if people have money, then it doesn't really matter. It depends how much money you have. That's really what it comes down to. So I understand what this woman's saying in this meme. I do. But I look at it, I have the same thoughts when it comes to kids.
I don't need to watch the De Beers documentary about it's a scam and engagement rings. I'm just talking about society, Cubs fan. You get a girl a ring when you propose to her. You don't. Are you going to go up to your girl and be like, I watched a documentary about how diamonds are a scam, so I'm not going to get your ring? Is that what you're going to say? That's what you should try.
Not me, no.
Cubs fans right. Be like, hey, listen.
I want to get like
any guy.
I want to get you. If you're marrying a girl, right? You feel she deserves this and your love and your commitment. I kind of want to get a nice ring. So there's priorities there.
But what I'm saying is, if
like, what are your priorities?
Would anyone's girlfriend be like, oh, that's really, if the guy's like, I watched a documentary about how diamonds are a scam, so I'm not getting you one. Well, he watched the documentary.
Now you're projecting and forcing your views on this girl who just wanted a nice ring. You got to find someone on the same page. It's a weird way to approach a loving partnership, but I see what she's saying. If a girl, she's saying like you're not ready. She's in a harsh way. All she's saying is you're not ready to get married if you don't even have money for these types of things. Yeah, that you probably shouldn't be getting married. You have no foundation.
What about Lisa, who says a woman is called the gold digger if she wants a nice ring and a nice wedding, if she wants like nice things. But a guy could go buy himself sneakers, video games, golf clubs, big TVs, all this stuff, but no one would ever judge that behavior. But if the girl's like, well, I want a ring that's nice. Is that a double standard?
Not following.
Meaning if a guy has money, but he spends it on, he's like, yeah, I got 2 big TVs. I just bought myself like all this shit to redo my car, and I bought golf clubs, and I did this, and I just bought some new kegerator from my backyard. If some guy's doing all the shit for himself, and then he's like, she wants me to spend a lot on a ring, it's okay for the guy to just spend a ton of money on shit he wants, but if the girl wants a nice ring, she's a gold digger?
I don't think because someone wants a nice ring makes them a gold digger. I don't.
I think that's a crazy thought. Like a girl that wants a nice ring, maybe she just has high standards. Would you tell your daughter?
I want a woman that has high standards.
Yeah. Would you want your daughter?
I don't want a woman that has low standards.
Would you want your daughter to marry a slouch? Would you say, Melody, if you ever meet a great guy when you're older, like it doesn't matter if he's a slouch. Who cares?
I don't promote anybody having mediocre standards. That doesn't mean be a high maintenance, pain in the ass piece of shit, but you should have an expectation, right? And know your value. So I don't mind that woman expecting a nice ring at that point, especially if her dude is showing that he's willing to spend on other shit. I don't think that makes her a gold digger. I just don't. I wouldn't even look at it that way.
Perfect. All right. Any other thoughts on that before we move on?
It sounds harsh, what the woman was saying, but I get it. I do. I understand what she's saying. And it's simply, you don't have the cushion. You don't have the backing. You don't have the foundation to even be getting involved in this marriage if you can't afford the ring. But she said it in a really harsh way, where she presented something that's supposed to be a loving partnership into like very cold business type of relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, is that how you feel about Sarah? Like, I know later on in life it becomes sort of that way and it feels that way, but to approach it that way seems odd to me. But yeah, you should be able to afford. You should be. This all goes back to the fucking simple sentiment of you got to live within your means. Sorry to bore up the conversation, but that's what it comes down to.
All right,
you can get married and fucking if you have a nice and not have a lot of money. And have a humble fucking ring in life.
Let's see. Steve saying, let's see.
People want to know why you change people's words.
Because we're reading feedback that's going fast down the thing. And sometimes people's grammar is terrible. And sometimes people write incomplete thoughts that if you don't complete their thought, it's gibberish.
Well, that's true too. Rich makes a point. I mean, he does make a point.
So before I get to this meme I want to read, and we'll go over some other news alerts and what's going on, I'm going to pee while you tell everyone how great the Yankees are.
The guy has no socks on, tight shorts. He's in his jammies, basically. He's in his jammies. Screaming for Sarah every 5 minutes.
Jammies!
He's taking pees. Who is this guy? The Yankees. I will tell you about the Yankees. I haven't even told you about New Jersey, but Had a great time in New Jersey, guys. It's good to be back. I was on the East Coast. Now I'm on the West Coast. And it feels good to be back. My biggest observations in New Jersey were that it's good to see family. I feel like I needed the feeling of being centered again. Like, okay, I feel good. Whew, I could sleep at night. There's a level of guilt and unsettled that I always feel. I mean, it's been 2 years since I saw my family. So kind of needed that. So I had a nice peaceful sleep last night, knowing I just saw everybody. Feels good. I noticed that New Jersey's fucking humid AF. Jersey's so humid and sticky. You know, it's hot on the West Coast, but the weather's beautiful. Humid in New Jersey. I don't miss that shit. I love my parents' home. It was nice to be there. Felt nice. They have a beautiful home. My parents really fucking hit a home run in life, in my opinion. Beautiful home, healthy kids. Everybody's doing great. I feel like my parents should be more thankful. They're very fortunate and blessed.
Oh, I have a...
And my last takeaway. Hold on.
Based on something I heard,
they love carbs. My family loves Jersey people, especially.
I saw that.
And my family, they eat so much bread, so much carbs. And even my dad is like, "How do you get full?" I'm like, I get it. I love bread.
It's a good
I
question.
can't eat that much.
I eat a lot of bread.
Yeah, I can't.
I do.
It's bad for me, but I did because I was in New Jersey. But like, yo, they eat bread with everything. Can't live that life anymore.
I think you sort of mentioned it a little bit, but I feel like one of the takeaways has got to be, because I felt this way when I went home. When I saw my high school friends and like the guys I've known since I'm like in grade school and my family and all that, I felt like it's a great reminder of like where you came from.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get
like there was a feeling of like, all right, like I may be living in LA. I have that like, and it's not like living in LA is like, it's not like living in LA is elaborate or fancy, but it's like a lot of times you forget we're living out here 3,000 miles away from where you grew up. You got your own place you're living. You have your own routine. Like honestly, like your vehicle is a car that your family's never seen. Your life is in essence a routine that no one you grew up with knows.
My family hasn't seen the last 3 homes I lived in.
Your family,
so it's like, you know,
your family is probably
that's
if you asked your siblings and parents like, "Hey, what car do I drive?" They'd be like,
they know because we do a
Toyota,
radio show.
a Honda.
Yeah.
What do you like? BMW still? Oh no, that was 2 cars. Like, oh wait, no one knows. So I think when you go back home to your hometown, no matter who you are, not just Covino, not just myself, I think there's a sense of, oh, that's right. This is who I am at the heart of things, at the root of things.
You feel that?
I'm a Long Island kid. My dad lives in Queens. My friends, the people that I care for most, that I'm closest with, are East Coasters, people cut from that cloth. And I think you quickly are like, oh, that's right. This is who I am.
You know who I am? You know who I realized I am?
This is who I am.
The guy who loves to eat cereal. I'm that guy.
Dude.
Cereal.
It's a problem.
Guy. I saw someone mention cereal. Oh, Alejandro Michael says the cereal. Parents have cereal.
It's a problem.
I love my mom's cereal. I love Raisin Bran.
It's a problem.
I'm the guy that loves rummaging through their cabinets. Oh, I'll eat mom's Raisin Bran.
It's right.
They have parents and families have so much cereal, and I don't eat it. But when I'm home, I'm the kid that grew up on cereal.
There's something about the East Coast
and
where...
I started picking up on my East Coast accent a little bit. I've realized there's a different cadence to my... Yeah, oh, ayo, gabagoo.
Look at the East Coast. Pizza, bagels, Italian food. You're more designed and accustomed to carbs. When I'm on the East Coast, you're right. It's not just my parents or your parents. Way easier to fatten up on carbs on the East Coast because they just have better options. Unless you're just eating tortilla after tortilla out here. You're not having bagels and pizza all the time.
Not at all.
So, hey, I think going home really does ground you.
Grounds you,
no
centers you. I feel better.
No matter
it was
who
good
you
to see
are.
my family. I haven't seen my dad, and he looks like Rob Ryan now with his long caveman hairdo, but he said he's going to cut it. He's like, hey, man, I was feeling like shit, so I'm going to look like the crazy old man. So he said he's going to cut it, but it was good to see my dad. I think he looks good as far as like healthy, which is good. Put on a few pounds because of the pandemic, but still looks good. I'd rather see my dad put on weight than start to deteriorate. And my mom is looking good. Everybody in good spirits. It was nice.
You know what
I saw I saw my best friend John, who I've known for 40 years now. You know, we were friends since kindergarten. Met up with Kevin K. Diddy. We had a drink, but it was good to see your buddy, shoot some pool. I wanted to see my friend Gus, but he lives too far away. I wasn't able to make that happen. I was only there for a few days, and I'm trying to do the family thing.
I don't think friends can get mad at that. I have one friend that I haven't talked to since I've been on the East Coast.
The real friends aren't gonna give you a hard time.
No, but I feel like there was one buddy that was probably a little butthurt that I didn't see him. Like, what do you want me to do?
The Behind the Velvet Rope is available if you haven't seen it. Me and my brother rummaged through the attic, and we had fun doing that. It was cool catching up. Even my sister Dawn, who I hadn't seen, she said being in New Jersey for a few weeks, she started picking up an old accent, like a different sort of
a little cadence. It's a New York cadence.
And we went out for my mom's retirement, just a quick dinner. It's actually a quick lunch together as a family. And it is so fucking funny. I almost forgot, Rich, but I didn't. We went to an Italian restaurant, and you got to see, it's almost like they're playing characters from The Sopranos. But that's really how these guys are. And it's fucking wild.
Like the wait staff and everything?
You got to see. He has it. Food's good.
Oh, you like it? Hey.
And these guys, they look like there's something out of a mobster movie. Yeah. But it's really how I grew up, and I even forget about that. Look at this guy with his slick back hair.
Hey, you want to know the specials today? Oh, we got a gabagool with a chicken parm.
It's like, all right, Tony Baloney. But he's a real guy. And you feel like you're watching someone out of Tony Soprano's, is one of his goons is serving you.
It's definitely
so fucking funny to see, man.
It definitely grounds you. And I wrote down what matters, right? And I think when you see your parents or you see how certain people live and they're happy and they're comfortable, you're like, what am I chasing?
Ass cheeks.
No, not anymore. What are you chasing? Meaning, when you look at, let's say, your parents who have plenty of money, they're retiring, they raise kids, and they are super content and happy in their beautiful middle-class home. And you're like, what am I like? Then I wonder, guys like you, they're like, I want fountains, I want this, I want that, I want, people that are striving for all this opulence.
Fortune and glory.
Doesn't going home remind you that, that's all that shit's really sort of unnecessary?
It does, but you evolve.
Generation after generation?
I think so. But yeah, their family is all that matters. They're together 45 years with, 5 kids and beautiful home.
I think about that when I think about that when I get this, when
that really is the goal. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying you're just striving for more, even though what you had was really. Where is that?
I think a lot of times, though, you're striving for this picture-perfect life that...
Well, fuck, I already lost that shit.
Not social media, Covino. I'm even talking HGTV shows make you be like, well, this is what a house looks like when it's staged.
Alejandro says it's the MTV Cribs generation,
But it's, but I'm saying it's, you there are times where I'll look around the house and I'll just see kids' toys everywhere and I'm picking up and straightening up. I'm like, oh! I'm like... Yeah, but isn't there something sweet and warm and nice about that? As you get older, the more sterile your house is, isn't that just a sign of lonely? The more sterile your house feels, the older you get. It goes from sleek bachelor pad or single place. If you're 40, 50, 60, the older you get, if your place is very clean and sterile, isn't there a part of you that feels that's because I family and kids and stuff like that. That's what gives a place heart, no?
Knickknacks and paddywhacks.
Like my fridge. We spent money on a brand new fridge. And you know what's on it? A monkey made out of a paper plate. And and a giraffe made out of cotton balls. Kid projects are on your fridge, You
need that stuff. A little bit of it. I like a balance. I still like my sleek ways.
Lisa's saying, I'm ahead of my years for this at least. It'll serve me well. You know what? You want your house to feel lived in. Andrew, you don't understand that that's if you talk about mental struggles and Covino having anxiety
I like
and
a balance of that.
Spot, and everyone's got their own mental struggles. My mental struggle is walking through the house.
Yeah, but you get past that phase. That phase is very short-lived.
Yeah, but I'm saying
it is.
Sarah,
the toys everywhere.
I know,
and
but
shit.
Sarah and I,
I had that, and I got as soon as they were, Melody was old enough. I'm like, yeah, all right, now keep your shit in your room.
Yeah, but Sarah and I are good. We're good teammates with that stuff. But there are times where like I'll get home, or Sarah will get home, or we'll look around, and we're like Ben's got a little tractor he scoots around on, and Emmy takes blocks out. When I tell you there's like blocks spread throughout the whole place, I'm like,
again, but I lived that life because they're little rugrats still. That goes away.
It's lived in.
And then you go back to your old. Then you find the compromise of I'll never be as sleek and sterile as I once was, but I'm still gonna neaten my shit up again.
Could I tell you, like, this just defines, not to bore people.
The chaos you're living in is temporary.
Not to bore people with the dad life stuff, but I find everyone's went through this maybe at one point. A lot of people are parents that listen to us. This is just so typical that sums up everything I'm talking about. The other day, and by the way, having you and Spock come here every day does make for this place not to be able to get too messy, which I love. Because even though you're not company, when people are coming into your house every day, there's a sense of like, well, can't get that out of control, So the doors. We have 3 sets of doors that go to the backyard by the pool and the patio, right? Ben's grimy little jelly hands. Like, you look at those doors in the sunlight, it's like, it looks like, honestly, a horror movie. You know when like
Smudgy
someone,
doors.
you know horror movie when like light shines on something, it's a bunch of hands? Fucking handprints everywhere. I get the glass cleaner, little I fucking do the windows perfectly. By the time I put it back and I walk back in the living room.
You do that at night.
No. By the time I walk back in the living room, Ben had mac and cheese hands, and there were 2 fucking yellow handprints on the door. And I'm like, is it even worth it? It's like that's the day to day. And I try not to let
again, that's temporary.
I try not to let that consume me. And when Emmy's like, I made this painting, and it's really just nothing more than like watercolors, like, on like a wet, sloppy piece of paper. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I guess this is going in the fridge because what am I, an asshole? It's my kid's painting. I'll put it up there. But in my OCD mind, I'm like,
I had a fucking hallway of it was like Melody shrines in her paintings, a whole bedroom hallway full of her paintings at one point. That shit, appreciate it. I mean, stating the obvious here.
By the way, handprints and face prints on every window or door. That's parent life, Crystal. You're
Especially, you got to remember how little and young they are. That's just how it is.
I don't like the mess, but there are times where, like, know what I do like? I do like the family feel. Like, we already put up Halloween decorations, which some would say way too soon, but the kids like it. We have orange lights and little Halloween knickknacks and stuff. And I feel like that makes the house feel more, like, warm, right?
Full, yeah.
Yeah, more full and warm.
Otherwise, it's empty, for sure. So it was good to be back into that family vibe, to see what my parents had done with the place. I hadn't seen all the upgrades and updates they've done. It's been just about 2 years since I went back to my childhood home, or the family house, I should say.
Is it so different than?
And I want to thank my family, my parents, because it was a great visit. So
do you look at your parents' house and say
hectic but great?
It feels the same when you were there, or is it a completely different house now?
No, it feels good.
No, but I'm saying like when you were there, like
it looks different because my mom they change shit around all the time. That's just how my family is. I mean, it always looks different. They're always doing some different shit. My mom's always doing something new. So it looked great. Same house, good vibes.
And your dad looks like Rob Ryan.
My dad looks like Rob Ryan. He said he's gonna cut his hair. They were rocking Covino and Rich merch. I love that. They say hello. They love what we're doing. And it was just nice to see everybody, my sisters and my other sister's about to have a baby. But it grounds you. And again, the other takeaway, I swear, Rich, you had to see these guys at the restaurant.
Oh, I remember going when I was on Long Island.
But it's like,
I felt the same.
Hey, ooh.
I agree with you.
Hey, everybody good? Oh, go. Hey, welcome. Hey, ooh. It's fucking weird.
You go to an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
The
more
more
these are real people, man.
The more soprano-ish character that is your waiter, the better. It's Long Island, it's Jersey, it's Manhattan, it's everywhere. Queens. When the guy's like, but there's got to be a tie straight in there. No, it has to be like, hey, my name's Tommy. I'll be your server today. Hey, do you guys want to know the specials? Because we got gabagool with the chicken parm.
These weren't even the servers. They were like the guys, probably who run the joint.
Like everything good over here?
Yeah. I was like, all right, Silvio. But it's real. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's how it is. I forgot. No wonder how we are. So back from Jersey, much needed visit. so glad to be there, to see my parents. I love them. It was great. It was nice. Surprised my mom. We talked about that. She had a freak out. But it is good to be back into the routine. And yes, the Yankees won, swept the Red Sox last night.
Nice.
Giancarlo Stanton on fire. Excited about that. Every game counts. It's that time of year. So it was nice to sit and watch the Yankees too with my brother and my family and just, get into that vibe.
Did you feel like, wow, I am deep down inside, I'm a New York, New Jersey guy?
Yeah.
You come back here, but you'll always be a New Yorker.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, a New Jerseyan?
Same shit.
Same shit. By the way, I have one dad tip to give everyone.
What?
White cheddar Cheetos.
What about them?
No orange fucking shit everywhere. Like the kids love the white cheddar ones. I'm like, sweet, because the white cheddar
orange fingerprints.
Yeah, you get the orange fingerprints on furniture and everything is you avoid it. So go with the Cheetos. The Cheetos white cheddar.
At least you know where the grime is with the orange.
No, Cheetos white cheddar.
You just want it disguised. All right.
My son would put Play-Doh on the walls. You get over it quick. Yeah, I guess you do. And I guess I have to understand. You know what it is? That was a good eye opener for me on the East Coast, because when I went back, much like you, I realized that everyone who I visited that had kids, there's some level of disarray. Out here on the West Coast, I think you guys sort of jade me a little bit because I have no friends with kids out here. Covino's got a daughter, but she's grown and she lives with mom most of the time. So out here, like everyone I know.
Remember, I lived in the same house with Melody until she was 7. So up until 7, it was little kid shit everywhere.
Oh yeah, but
then they graduate from that messy phase.
But what I'm saying is that you never, we didn't go over your house much because our ex-wife wasn't, the most social.
I mean, you guys didn't live here at that point.
No, but I'm saying even the first year we lived here.
I moved out 6 months into it. So I never lived family life when Rich and Spot were out here, ever.
So
I lived what you even though you didn't witness it, I lived everything you're saying.
All our friends are kidless or single out here.
Yeah.
So it gives me a very warped perception of like what everyone's doing. Like
what a house should look like.
Like Mike and Shannon, my buddy Zach, you, Spot. Every single person I know out here lives with like a neat apartment or condo or house. Like, and some of my other friends I play softball with, like our buddy Ross and a couple of those guys, their kids are like grown.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, am I the only one living in disarray?
It ends around 7, 8. Yeah, they get bigger and they're not. I mean, they're still like crummy little kids, meaning leaving a mess behind all the time. But the crazy chaos of toys and shit, that sort of ends around that time.
I got one more dad life question, then question about influencers. My dad life question. Because Sarah said this the other day, and I'm wondering. The answer is yes, you care more about your kids than yourself, right?
By the way, the solution is like a playroom. That helped a lot.
Yeah, but then I'm like, do I sacrifice
it doesn't mean they can't take their shit out.
Yeah, no, but
it
I'm
just
saying
all
like,
goes back into the playroom.
Like the guest bedroom is not utilized often. Do I say, put all your toys in there? And then if a guest comes, then we say, well.
I'm just saying it helps. Yeah. It definitely helps. And I had one house that had
we thought about
enough room for a playroom.
If you remember, we thought about this, and I think most people dissuaded me. Remember, the whole idea was like, do we have Ben and Emmy sleep in the same room and have like bunk beds for a while and have the other room be a playroom? Yeah, whatever. Sarah brought this up, and I was like, you care more about your kids than yourself. I never thought that would be the case. I really didn't, because I'm cut from a cloth where I was, I care about myself. Who do you care about? Yourself.
Then you like waffle
cloth.
Waffle.
But you really
Long
do.
Johns.
Like, I never thought I'd be like, I would die for my kids. I never was able to say that about, family members or anything. My kids.
By the way, did you see Barnon Dad is having his third boy?
I saw he hit a baseball.
My childhood friend who lives in Florida, so I didn't see him, but he hit a baseball. He said Jeter-esque opposite field style for his birth announcement.
I saw that. It was cute.
Gender reveal, I'm sorry.
It was cute.
So now 3 boys and a girl. And if you've been following the show, he was the guy with no kids and no wife, no anything, and now has 3 and 1 on the way.
So last quick question, then we'll move on. We buy milk for the kids. That's not cheap, right? Like, it sounds ridiculous, but milk's like $4.99 or $5.99 for like a gallon of like the organic, nice. So, the one with the red one with the cow on it. What is that? You know what I'm talking about? Not the fucking plastic cheap gallons.
Okay.
Whatever the milk is, that's like $4.99 or $5.99 a gallon. And I feel like Sarah and I, because we're living the mom and dad life, something I haven't eaten in years that I'm like back in the routine of, like a bowl of cereal. And Sarah's like, should we get ourselves shittier milk for our cereal, but keep getting the kids good milk? And I'm like, so would you get like shittier milk for yourself?
You don't drink the milk with your cereal?
No, I do. But what I'm saying is like
you're not wasting the milk, are you?
Yeah, like the $5.99, half the $5.99
I would
half
say,
a gallon of milk.
Like Jordan does that. She has the nice expensive milk for, like she gets mad when I use the expensive milk for my smoothies. You know what I mean?
But then I'm thinking like, isn't the whole point like, well, if you're saying the other milk's not good enough for your kids, you're going to eat the shitty milk? You're going to drink the shitty milk?
I mean, it's just more expensive. How much shittier is it? It's just more expensive.
I'm saying like you could get a gallon of milk for like $1.99. A half a gallon of good milk is like $5 or $6.
I think she makes a point, as long as it's not going to waste.
Okay.
Like my issue, and I'm not trying to switch the conversation here, so please address Rich's question. Again, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about that. I have these issues of when I have my daughter part-time and she's the only one that's eating bread, you know, I buy a loaf of bread, that shit goes to waste. No one else is eating it.
Bring it over here. I eat plenty of bread.
You know what? I'll bring it to you.
Bring it here.
You don't want to waste
after
shit,
loaf, bro.
and it becomes an issue. And you're like, fuck. You don't want to deprive your kids of stuff just because you don't eat that shit.
Yeah.
But the milk thing, there's some weird rule in my house, and I can tell you it's, you know the milk that's shaped like a vase.
Yeah.
And it has, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
What's
I know
that
you're
shit
talking about
called?
a little. Yeah, I know.
That's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
I try not to use that for wasteful shit like cereal and
But what would you use it for?
Like, I think Jordan's just drinking milk sometimes. I don't know. Or whatever she's doing with her milk. Or for her coffee and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, because that.
I'm sorry, coffee.
Coffee.
Back from Joyzy.
All right, well, there you go. Dumb milk conversation. Don't let milk cost more than your shoes. That's a great lesson, Jonathan. JC.
Fucking great lesson in life.
I just thought it was weird that Sarah's like, yeah,
What
buy us
cereal
buy
are
us
you
the
back
cheap.
on?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Well, you want to give your kids the better shit.
I house so much cereal now. That's where I'm getting all my carbs.
What?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Lucky Charms.
Oh.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Can I tell you, my mom had all that shit. But Raisin Bran was still where it's at for me.
Oh, yeah.
But it works, too.
The expensive, the expensive, top of the line organic milk for the kids. And Sarah's like, get us the milk from, the defective cow.
Well, I'll leave it at this.
Yeah.
You're going to make those sacrifices and put your kids first. So, yeah, they get the healthy shit. It's just a matter of if everyone's going to be drinking it, then you're cutting at least some of the cost by having just some of the regular shit
Stupid
that
milk,
you don't necessarily need.
It's just a thought.
I get it.
Here's the meme I wanted to ask you about. And I posted this a week ago, and I got a lot of people saying they liked it, so I wanted to bring it up here. It's a meme that says, I hate when fitness influencers are in their 20s. Listen, I was skinny and hot as fuck when I was 21 too. My diet was vodka, ramen noodles, coffee, and cigarettes. My workout was walking to parties drunk as fuck in 5-inch heels. You don't impress me. Come back when you're 40. And you could just adjust that a little bit for a dude. But is there a part of you that's like, yo, I'm not impressed 20-something-year-old girl or guy that's I'm a fitness person. I have my shake in the morning. I have this for lunch, and then I have almond butter on toast with avocado. Do you feel like the 20-something-year-old fitness person is full of shit because when you were 20, it's fucking easy?
Yeah, because when I was 20-something, I was eating cereal and didn't give a fuck about that. Right? Did you? I wasn't eating that. If I was eating in my 20s the way I ate in my later 30s, yeah, I probably would have been in great, phenomenal, ripped shape.
When I was in my 20s, if I ate well for a week, I would show abs.
Right.
We
ate lots of carbs.
Come back when you're 40.
I told you, I grew up eating fucking Taylor ham sandwiches and pizza.
You were having Taylor ham and pizza.
So it was, yeah.
And you were showing muscles.
And I took those habits into my 30s. That didn't help. So, yeah, no, it's a good way to rationalize when you're feeling down about yourself. You're like, yeah,
not
easy.
rational. It's not
It
feeling
is, though.
bad about
I'm
yourself.
sure
I'm
there's-
saying when
you don't think
when-
there's a lot of people that look at that shit and feel bad about themselves?
But when you scroll through, and I think it's worse for women. So that's why I think the fact that it was written for a woman is better, because any girl that's in her 30s or 40s must look at some 20-year-old girl that's like, hi, I'm Jackie, and here's my fitness blog. What I do is this, 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 and this. And it's like, yeah. When you're almost like check
Why
back
don't you
with
write
me.
a blog about your 20-year-old metabolism?
Yeah, it's like, how about you have a kid or so, you age 15 years, your metabolism goes down the drain, and then when you're Jennifer, if you look like J-Lo at 50, the world should listen to what you're doing. But when you're 20 and you fucking don't have cellulite because you still have like baby fat, you should not be doing fitness blogs.
Well, here, ready?
That's my-
Who would you want to really learn from? Trevor Lawrence or Tom Brady? You know, like, what's more impressive? The fact that Tom Brady's 44 and still fucking doing it. I'm not surprised that Trevor Lawrence is in good shape still.
Crystal said she could eat bread in her 20s and not get sleepy after. Now it's like you have
Yeah.
carbs and you're like, I'll be honest, as much as I bust his balls, what Spot did to me is so much more impressive than some 20-year-old drip guy.
Mm-hmm.
Spot was, for the most part, and this is not being mean, Spot was sort of sloppy his whole life, 20s and 30s. Like, Spot was like an out-of-shape guy, never went to the gym, never really...
Sloppy's harsh. I would say like
soft.
doughy.
Yeah, like Spot was not in shape. What Spot did to get muscles and trim up and lower his body fat the way he did, what Spot did, so much more impressive than some dude that's on The Bachelor as a contestant. He's like, yeah, I'm 24 and I got abs. It's like, yeah, congratulations. When I was 24,
There's a 40-year-old guy in a Bachelor in Paradise. with
That's
abs.
impressive.
He's more impressive than the 20 guy.
If you're
20-year-old guy.
trying to tell me,
Kenny, right? Kenny.
yeah, dude on Bachelor in Paradise who's 23 and he's like, hey, I'm here on the beach to meet some babes, and he's got muscles and he's hairless and he has a fucking 8-pack. Yeah, that's good looking. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not hard. What's hard is being 40, 50,
Perspective.
especially
That's all.
especially a woman, right? I mean, and because we got to be real. Like, women are held to an unrealistic expectation and standard. And
Really, we were all capable of this in our 20s if we
Anyone.
made that a priority.
Dude, I made
a lot
a
of
bet-
us
I'm-
just didn't make that a priority in our 20s.
is my birthday in a week? Hold on.
Yeah. No.
Shit. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
My birthday's the end of next week. I'm going to be 42. When I was 32, I made an ab bet with Nicole, and I was able to like pretty easily get abs in 2 weeks just by changing my diet drastically for a couple weeks.
You starved
Just 30
yourself, right?
Yeah, for 30. If I did like a juice diet for 2 weeks and I worked out, and I was like, see, I'm 32, I could get abs, and I won the bet. Yeah, but I fucking looked like too skinny.
Yeah. He looked like he was dying for a day.
However,
He had abs for a minute.
and then you know what? I was like, you know what? It wasn't that tricky.
Then after he took his picture, he carved up again.
I don't think I could do that as easily now. I'll tell you that.
No. So thank you guys. It's a great way to look at things. Like, yeah.
I disagree
Easy
with
for you
I
at
disagree with
20-something.
Alex efforts. This is not a boomer conversation. It's way more impressive when someone goes against the odds, right? I don't think it's like an old guy conversation. I think that's like a 20-something-year-old saying, "I'm so blessed to see 25." Slow down. You're turning 25. Tell me when you're 45. That's from Lonnie.
Hold on. I want to finish Alex Effort's point. This kind of sounds like a boomer conversation of justification, maybe? He says, or rationalizing. He says, people just want to look at attractive young people, period.
Of course they do.
Yeah, the old guy that's ripped is more impressive, but he's also the old guy.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, if you were to say, what's more impressive to you? I'd say,
Is he saying it's like what we're saying is obvious?
no, but I think these 20-year-old influencers, it's almost the only boomer part of the conversation would be the whole, like, check back with me in 20 years, because that is the truth. Anyone that's attractive in their 20s could work out hard for a couple weeks and trim up. There's girls that have perfect thighs and butts when they're 21, 22. You know why? it's like life hasn't hit them yet. They almost still have like a kid's body, as weird as that sounds, right? Like, think about it. The girls you dated in high school or college, they weren't like women. They were like young women. When a girl's 20, she's not a woman.
Not yet.
What about the Jonesy saying, I respect the 40, 50-year-old in my gym who are in great shape more than the 20-year-olds. I agree with that. Again, not trying to sound like a boomer conversation.
Well, you left out a great point that he made, Jonesy in Texas. You got to remember, too, when you're 20, you have no like real responsibilities. You know, you're living a carefree life. Your whole world revolves around gym, tanning, and laundry for the most part.
I haven't gone to the gym.
So if you're able to still maintain a great physique and look that good at 40-something with adult responsibilities, yeah, hell of a lot more impressive.
Oh, yeah. I haven't gone to the gym in 5 days. I was hosting events. I was working with you yesterday. And I'm going to go today for the first time in like 5 days. Because just when you're older, you just don't also have the time you used to have. You're right.
So it's a great point. Thank you, Jonesy.
All right.
Now, a SpongeBob Popsicle says what's up.
What up, SpongeBob Popsicle?
It's confused by expensive milk. There's different levels of milk.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like higher class cows, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're really fancy cows.
Yeah. So
fancy cows.
Thank you guys for being here again. We did a Behind the Velvet Rope. Me and my brother from Jersey. We went rummaging through the attic to see if we could find any treasures. Check that out on our Patreon. And shout out to Mike Durban Productions. Thank you guys for all your support. Another shout out to Lonnie 3000. Cubs fan, we appreciate you. All the guys that hit us up on the daily. You know, there's a few more shout outs I want to give if there's any you want to give too.
Oh, go ahead. As you're giving shout outs, I think that they make them things, they're making milk out of things that don't even have nipples, Cubs fan. Cubs fan said, just find anything with nipples and you get milk. Sarah the other day said, hey, when you go to the milk, when you go to get milk, so because Ben's a little sniffly and he seems like he's, you know, maybe the milk's not reacting or something. She goes, see if they have pea milk. I'm like, pea milk? I was like, they press like peas? Like they like oat milk, pea milk, silk milk, which is all these doesn't milk. When we were kids, this sounds boomerish, but when we were kids,
rice milk.
When we were kids, don't you feel like it was like whole milk, 1%?
I know there's a comedian that talks about they're squeezing milk out of everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know
to me,
who it
it's
is,
like,
but that shit is funny.
I don't know. It's
Shout
wild
out to
me.
Ryan Salinger. He's the guy that got us the Red Barn coffee.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Out of Boston. So thank you, Ryan Salinger. Sorry I'm on delay with the shout out.
Grass-fed cows don't eat poison, so you don't get hormones, and your kids don't get boobs at 6 years old. That's from Lisa. So give me your shout-outs, and then I want to ask you about a show I watched. By the way, the Yankees playing today or no?
No, they're off today. They play again tomorrow. Shout out to Mike Golding. Appreciate your contributions, buddy. You're the man. You're the guy. And something else I wanted to bring up was the Oscar De La Hoya story. I think it's kind of funny. But go ahead.
There's a show on Netflix that I watched over the weekend. I was working all weekend, by the way. I hosted an event for SiriusXM. They really asked so little of me. And I can't argue it, and I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to say, no, make me work more. But I had to go somewhere, and they paid me to host an event. But I'm like, when they said hosting, I thought I was going to have to do fucking corny games and contests and like make announcements and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Don't you usually play pin the tail on the honky?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's one of my favorite games. But none of that stuff.
Rich is the honky.
None of those things, Covino. So Covino's hosted these same things where sometimes the client is so overly involved where they're like, oh, we're going to need you. Like we've done things in Vegas together.
I had to turn one down. I was in Jersey, so I couldn't do it.
Do you remember when we were in Vegas, they were like, yo, every 10 minutes make an announcement. Or, hey, here's some giveaways. Can you guys do a contest every 15 minutes? Like sometimes a client, and they'll be watching you and they'll be involved. This one was hey, we don't want you to make announcements. Just play music for the next 4 hours. I'm like, no announcements? They're like, nope. I'm like, play music. They're like, yeah, play like current pop music. So I made a playlist, press play, and I had my phone like a little dipped away, and I watched I just binged a show.
Did you play a lot of Train?
No, I play like a lot of Dua
Olivia
Lipa,
Rodrigo.
a little Olivia Rodrigo, Dua Lipa. My new favorite song, Vault Boy.
Vault Boy.
Everything sucks. I played Walker Hayes, Fancy Like. Yeah, I played all the pop music. And I just made a playlist, press play. Everyone was happy with what I did. But I'm like, happy? I just made a playlist. Good. Pay me. Fine. But I binged a show that day and I finished it at night.
While you were working.
Yeah. Squid Game.
Work harder. Work smarter, not harder.
Squid Game. Can we talk about how demented and how crazy and how vulgar would even
This
be a
is
word?
Netflix?
Yeah, it's #1 trending for the last week and a
Squid
half.
Game.
Squid Game.
By the way, it's Mike Golding's birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. Thank you, Caleb.
Mike Golding, the pilot, right? Is he a pilot? Is that Mike? Delta Mike?
Are they? I just know Delta
Is Mike
Mike.
Golding the... Yeah, I think so. So, Squid Game. I want to see the feedback. 412, the letter C in our show, or the...
What you know about gay?
Or the thread here, the chat on YouTube. Squid Game to me was something that made me have nightmares for 2 nights. I would
Really?
wake up and I'd be like,
Is that vulgar?
vulgar's I guess vulgar would be a good way to put it. Sarah
You're like
said
the
vulgar.
most jaded guy going.
Sarah said vulgar is
Rich
the right
loves
word.
smut and gore.
Sarah said vulgar is the right word because I was like, give me a word. She's like, and I was like, raunchy's not the word because it's not sexual. There's a lot of killings, gory.
You should watch Vulgar the Clown. You ever heard of Vulgar
No.
the Clown? It's a Kevin Smith movie. Vulgar the Clown.
Some people saying they can't watch Squid Game. Jen saying, I don't know if I could watch anything with the word squid in it. It's a Japanese show, right? It's a Japanese show.
You never watched SpongeBob?
Where it's bloody. Oh my God, it is bloody. Gory, bloody, vulgar, gross, but you can't turn away. I'll give you the concept without giving much away because I don't want to give away too much. Because there are twists and turns and all that. I think I could give you the premise without giving much away. The premise is it's a bunch of people that are broken down on their luck. But like not broke, like, yeah, my bills. Like we're talking people that are in major debt or like, debt collectors and people that are really at the end of the rope, right? Like
They're cash for gold or no?
yeah, guys like that, yeah.
Been there.
Honestly, you would have been a great contestant 5 years ago. So all these people that are like terribly down on their luck are given an opportunity to show up here and play a game. And Bleacher Bum, I'm not going to ruin anything, I promise. All these people, let's say there's 500 people. They all show up to play a game because it's almost like, here's a business card. Call this number. They get picked up. I don't want to give away
Is
too
it a
much.
job for Cutco Knives or no? It's not. You're going to be a door-to-door salesman for Cutco Knives.
So let's just say they get knocked out and taken to a place. So all these people wake up and they're all numbered. Like, hey, we're all numbered 1 to 500. Welcome to Squid Game. Welcome. We're going to play a bunch of games. Look at Cubs fan. Typical Rich. Shut up. Give us a week to watch it. Well, it's been trending #1 for the last 2 weeks. So I'm not giving it away. I'm giving you the premise. So these people all show up and they realize they're playing childhood games. And all I'll say is the childhood games have deadly consequences. It's not like, oh, hey, you lose, you're out. It's like, hey, there's a lot of money on the line and you could get out of debt and we're going to give you the opportunity to win all these cash and prizes. All right, let's play red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. And then all of a sudden, if you lose, the goons and the guards come out and they're like, kill you. So you're done with one game and all of a sudden you've lost like fucking 100 people dead. Tomorrow we will play a new game. And these people are like, what the fuck? We didn't know we were going to, It's all dubbed over in English. Little distracting at times. But
It's Asian?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check it out.
It's a total Asian show.
I like it.
You tell me, Stefan saying they're quite intense, the Squid Games. Yes.
I'll check it out.
It is intense.
All right.
That's all I'll say, man. It's you may watch it. My instinct is that Covino will watch it. It's a
check it out.
Korean show, not a Japanese show. Korean show. If you watch it,
Thanks, Eric.
you're going to come back with one of two responses.
Brian Haber.
You're going to come back with one of two responses. I thought it was a Japanese show because Japanese game shows are really strange. So I thought it was.
I like the ones where they're sitting on like porta-johns and they just lift the porta-john up and there's a Japanese guy sitting there like, oh,
I like the ones when Japanese people are trying to get up like a ramp that says like jelly.
It's like slippery.
Slippery, yeah.
Those are great. I love those. Okay, cool. I'll look out for it.
I'm done, Lisa.
Let's
You
get
don't have
into
to-
the
you don't have to go
random news
anywhere.
real quick to
But-
make the show topical for.
Well, I mean, nothing more topical than the number one trending show on Netflix.
Your action-packed
All I'm
Monday.
saying is that you are responsible to be one of two things. You're going to watch episode 1 and be like, bro, intense. This is better than you made it seem. This is fucking crazy. Or you're going to say, yeah, bro, it's too violent and too fucking, that's too much for me. I don't know. I don't know what, believe it or not, I've known you all these years. I don't know what your threshold is for like gore.
I'll check it out. Sounds interesting.
Like,
Intriguing.
are you a guy that if you see like a ton of people get killed in a show like violently, are you like Final Destination, intrigued or too much?
I'll go with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think you might like it then.
So this weekend, we already touched on the football stuff. More of that on Fox Sports Radio. Check our podcast. Links at Covino and Rich. Enjoy your Monday Night Football tonight. Dallas Eagles, 3.5-point spread. We talked about that. Over the weekend, UFC 266. I know Daniel Javier Feats was enjoying that. A lot of people enjoying it. Some great fights. Our guy Volkanovski beat Ortega in a 5-round decision, but he was real close to losing his featherweight belts. He was being choked out, and like he found that will to win, and he got banged up, man. You see Volkanovski's face all cut up, but still won. Again, 5-round decision. Shevchenko beat Murphy in the women co-main event. Round 4, KO, TKO. The big upset in middleweight was Nick Diaz. Well, it wasn't an upset, but a lot of people love rooting for Nick Diaz. TKO in the 3rd round, Robbie Lawler victorious there. And Curtis Blades won a 3-round decision in the heavyweights. So some good UFC over the weekend. I saw a lot of people loving that and talking about it. I was traveling from east to west, so I also missed the Anthony Joshua fight. He just fires me down. I watched it. I ended up watching it later on. And just his, like, you know how I mentioned Volkanovski found that will to win? He's like, I'm the fucking champion. I'm about to lose my belts. I'm being choked out. Fuck that. You find his second wind. Anthony Joshua just doesn't have that fight, in my opinion, or didn't have the answers to Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk, Ukrainian bad boy, who stole all of his belts. He won, unanimously won.
I'm not saying you didn't know him because
I knew him.
you keep your ear to the streets, but we just had a conversation like a month ago.
I didn't think he was going to win.
Or 2 months ago.
I didn't.
And no, but the conversation was Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Ruiz, and Anthony Joshua.
Andy
And
Ruiz.
no, what is it?
You said Anthony.
Oh, Andy Ruiz. The whole conversation was Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, Fury, and Wilder. And it was like, that's the elite of the heavyweights. And it would be like, anyone else? And I'm not saying you because I know you know, but everyone's like, nope, that's the top tier. And all of a sudden, this guy comes in and clowns Anthony Joshua.
Didn't
And
think he
everyone's
had
like,
the
and everyone's
skill.
like, no, but then you look at him, he's 19-0 with 13 knockouts. I guess was he just, did everyone think he had a weak fight?
And he's significantly smaller than Anthony Joshua.
But did people think his fight resume was a bunch of soft wins? Is that what it was? Because he was 19-0 with 13 knockouts.
You think he's a tough guy, tough Ukrainian guy, you know, following in the footsteps of the Klitschko's. They're just tough dudes, right? So you know he's tough, but was he skillful enough to beat an Anthony Joshua? Fuck yeah, he was. He made Joshua look like shit, man. I watched a fight. Joshua was so just fucking, he wasn't even whelming, Rich. He was underwhelming. No fight, no heart. And it
was in front of his home stadium, right? I mean,
again, the guy that has the belts, he just got beat. Like, showed no fight, in my opinion. A guy like Deontay Wilder and Fury would light him up after watching that. So now Usyk showed that he's of that pedigree. He's got 3 belts now. Where is he in line to fight Fury and Wilder or the victor of that next fight? Or does Anthony Joshua
I
get
don't
the
think,
automatic Usyk rematch? I don't know.
No, it's an automatic rematch. They've already talked about it. But,
I know.
But my thought is if Usyk, it doesn't spoil it for me, and I'll tell you why. Because a guy that casually watches boxing like I do, like I'll be invested, I'll watch it, but I'm not a fanatic like you. To me, Usyk is undefeated. When a guy's undefeated and he beats someone of clout, that just makes me think, well, maybe Usyk's a player now. So when
He had great head
so
movement.
if
Joshua
and
couldn't
when,
hit him. Couldn't
if
do
and
anything.
when Tyson Fury beats Wilder again, because Wilder could come out, you don't know, he could come out and
Anything's
he's
possible,
a one punch
But
from
Wilder's got that fight. Even when he was getting his ass handed to him,
he was fighting, yeah.
like he was coming up,
But even if Deontay Wilder
trying
doesn't,
his heart out.
let's say he could knock anyone out with one punch. He's the bronze bomber. We know this. But if Deontay Wilder loses to Fury, I wouldn't hate watching the Tyson Fury fight this guy Usyk. Why would I not want to watch it? If this
That would
guy,
be a great fight.
Because if Usyk is some young, hungry guy that beat the shit out of Anthony Joshua,
But it's
then
still not because styles make fights, and it's like football, man. Like just because Usyk beat Joshua doesn't necessarily mean that Fury beats Usyk, or I don't know. But it just or Fury beats Joshua.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're all going to size up differently based on styles. But what happens because Joshua lost his fight, that mega fight with Fury, which was carded to be was supposed to be the biggest fight card.
It was slated to be.
Yeah,
the problem,
the biggest fight ever in Europe isn't necessarily going to happen right now.
Anthony Joshua.
But Anthony Joshua said he'd fight them still without the belts. It doesn't matter.
Anthony
But he
Joshua,
showed no fight.
Anthony
man.
Joshua.
I like him.
Not
so.
that he cockblocked himself. Listen, if you lose a fight, you lose a fight. Like he didn't venture off to say, let me lose on purpose. No one's going to lose. Like
No.
Anthony Joshua doesn't want to be a loser. But the problem is, rewind 2 years. It was Deontay Wilder, Fury, and Joshua. And the whole thing was like, wow, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Whoever wins will then fight Anthony Joshua. And we had all these
Anthony Joshua had 3 belts.
we had
Fury
all
has
these,
1.
but we had all these elite. We had all these elite heavyweights for the first time since like probably Tyson and Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. We had elite. The Klitschko's ruined that division for a decade.
Yeah.
We had elite heavyweights that were all undefeated. So it was like, fuck, these guys are balling. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Then Joshua goes and loses to fucking fat Andy Ruiz. And you're like, all right. Then he whooped Andy Ruiz. So you're like, all right, maybe it was a fluke. Anthony Joshua is back in the mix. Now he loses to another big upset.
And this dude, you could look at it this way. This dude's the real deal.
So maybe Anthony
and
Joshua
maybe there's just
soft.
so much competition in the heavyweight division now. It's just didn't expect that to happen, although I expected this guy to be tough. So that happened over the weekend. And because there's this UFC and boxing thing going on, right, there was more beef. And I'll wrap up the fight talk with this. It was kind of funny. I touched on it briefly at the end of the Fox Sports radio show yesterday.
And by the way, Rolando's right. Even if the fight still happens, millions of dollars were lost.
100%.
But then again, Anthony Joshua has made millions and millions and millions of
But
dollars.
that was
And-
supposed to be
and-
like the biggest fight
Yeah.
ever, Fury Joshua,
Well-
because they're both superstars overseas.
so he'll now make like 10 million instead of 50 million. Like he was, but that was slated. Covino and Rolando are right. That was supposed to be if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua neither had lost ever,
Right.
and that was the fight that happened. It would have been the biggest pay-per-view ever.
Now Joshua lost. So the other story, the side story, is sort of like boxing versus UFC. So I mentioned Volkanovski really fought a brutal fight, but he showed that fight and he won.
Yeah.
Right? But he was getting beat. Oscar De La Hoya then goes to social media. Oscar De La Hoya, the boxer, but he's also a promoter, Golden Boy, for boxing. He says, hey, Alexander Volkanovski, you just won a brutal battle for UFC and made 1/20th of what you're worth. And then he calls out Dana White. They've been bickering for years now. He goes, at Dana White, have some fucking respect for yourself and these fighters and pay these warriors what they deserve. Then Dana White responds, shut the fuck up, you crackhead, faking that you had COVID and robbing me of watching you get knocked the fuck out by Vitor Belfort. You should win an Academy Award for your hospital performance.
Wow.
So these two just going, and there's that thin line between love and hate. I think they just need to fuck. These two.
Oh, yeah.
Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya either need to fight or fuck. I'm trying to figure it out. But again, going back and forth in a great weekend of sports, football, baseball, getting heated up. Every game counts. And fighting. There it is.
Yeah. And by the way, happy birthday, Black Adam. You dig?
I dig.
You dig?
I dig like Dig 'em Frog.
Yo,
You know
Black
what Dig 'em
Adam.
Frog is?
Yeah, that's from Honey Smacks.
There you go. Formerly known as Sugar Smacks.
Happy birthday, Black Adam.
Happy birthday, buddy. So De La Hoya beef. And then
You know what?
in regular news.
I have a bunch of little thoughts. Can I give you one more before we get out of here?
Yeah, that's our rando news of the day. Sports. Really good time for sports right now.
No, it's a good sport.
Sports.
Squid Games. Good
Squid
sports.
Games.
Good sports. Maybe tomorrow we'll save the thought of greatest city in the world.
And penis hair. When are we going to talk about penis hair?
Never. Because it sounds like it's hair on your penis, but that's not what it is.
No, penis hairdos.
My father-in-law asked me a great question. I did not have the answer. I couldn't even think of it.
City. I'm going to write this down because you're going to forget. Greatest city in the world. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
My father-in-law asked a great question, and I couldn't even think of the answer to it. I really couldn't, because it was one that I've never thought of. He's a big music fan. Dave Hoots. He said, you ever think about when the whole conversation was, he doesn't understand one-hit wonders.
What about him? I love one-hit wonders.
He doesn't understand the concept of one angle of a one-hit wonder. His theory is, if it's a band, like a rock band, or a group that writes their own music and they do their own thing, he could comprehend a one-hit wonder. Because he's like, all right, sometimes you get lightning in a bottle one time, right? It's a catchy song. You got one hit in you.
Harvey Danger, Flagpole Sitter.
Yeah, and all your other stuff is sort of like, meh, right? But he's like, if you live in that pop world and you're not even writing your own stuff, how could you ever be a one-hit wonder? Is that like, has society just deemed themselves done with you? Because if a band says we write all our own stuff, then you could say, they have one doozy that was a big hit. But the rest of their stuff, Covino, that rock band, they didn't really rock out that hard. They had one great song. But if you're a pop act, like some teeny bopper, and you have a hit, doesn't the label or the production company, can't they just feed you another hit?
In that industry, yeah. I don't know how that works. They just give up on that person?
He goes, yeah,
if they were good enough to get the hit, they're always going to push out another one, but maybe they were...
But explaining the phenomenon of a one-hit wonder in the pop world, and
give
Dave,
me a good example.
Dave sort of stumped me because he's like, think of a rock band. He goes, if there's a... I know you would argue the Toadies is not a one-hit wonder, but generally speaking, you would like to say Toadies, Possum Kingdom is a one-hit wonder. A rock fan would be like, well, they have a couple other songs, but generally speaking, it's a great example. Possum Kingdom, one of the best songs of a decade.
Let's not use the Toadies. I like the Toadies too much.
Give me another one.
Space Hog, In the Meantime.
Space Hog, In the Meantime.
But in the meantime, I'll be only home. I can breathe the skies. I'll be all you. It's a great song.
Space Hog, In the Meantime.
Yeah. And I don't know any of their other songs. Like maybe half of another song.
But I'm saying,
Toadie's got a lot of
also
songs.
keep in mind, you've worked in rock radio your whole life, so you're the worst jaded person on this.
That's why I said Space Hog. I don't know any
Space
other
Hog,
song
right?
like that.
Space Hog. They
I
had
said
one
Harvey
song.
Danger,
Yeah,
Flagpole Sitter.
Flagpole. They had one song, and then it's like,
that's understandable.
yeah, it's understandable because it's like, well, they wrote if they write their own stuff and they're like, we have the integrity that we only write our own stuff. You could say, they caught lightning in a bottle. It happened. They had one great moment.
They always try with a follow-up. It just doesn't catch.
Yeah, it doesn't catch. They have one hit. But if you are...
like a manufactured sort of artist, kind of, sort of.
If you're a manufactured artist...
You're able to break through.
And you don't write all your own music, how do you only have one hit? Because if the label believes in you, they have their...
And you proved it.
And you proved it once before... And you have guys like Ryan Tedder of One Republic and other guys and who's the dude that I love from Lil Dicky's show?
Benny
Blanco.
Benny Blanco.
If you have Benny Blanco or, like I said, like Ryan Tedder of One Republic, guys that write a bunch of hits for other artists, can't the label just be like, all right, we got
Ed
another
Sheeran.
one. We got Ed Sheeran write songs for other people. Can't they just give that pop artist, oh, here's a second song that's guaranteed to hit?
Well, Alex Efforts poses a good question, though. Who's even the last pop one-hit wonder you could think of?
I mean,
does that even happen now?
Yeah, not as much, but I know
can
what
think
he's-
of old ones. I can't think of any new ones.
Yeah, because you're not really in the
Yeah.
pop scene.
I don't
There's
know.
plenty of one-hit wonders in the pop world, but it's interesting. They're all one-hit wonders now? Gabe, you're so wrong. It's the opposite, really. Covino and Alex sort of back up that point where, you're right, now it almost seems like Olivia Rodrigo doesn't have one hit. She has like 4 hits. One-hit wonders is
How do you explain it is the question.
Carly Rae Jepsen, great example. That was, by the way,
That's what I'm saying. I can
Gabe,
think
that
of
was
old
that was
ones.
like 10, 15 years ago almost.
No, it wasn't.
I think, didn't it just celebrate its 10-year anniversary? Call Me Maybe?
I don't know, man. I remember my daughter singing the shit out of that. So
Let's see. That's what we have the googly. Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen was, 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, Carly Rae Jepsen, the label couldn't be like, we got another one for you. I guess not. I guess sometimes
she had another follow-up with someone famous in the video, I remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same.
Wasn't the same.
Yeah. So just a deep thought. What happens? Like the one-hit wonder, if you're writing your own music, you could understand it better because you're like, well, they had the talent for one good hit and that's it. If someone else writes music for you, then that's pretty much saying like, yeah, they like everyone liked you enough, but they don't want to keep sticking with you.
Joe Reitz poses a question. Why can't pop stations play more than 15 songs? Yeah, when you're so limited because you're pushing earworms out, that's basically what you're doing, right? What are the catchiest songs? What are the popular songs?
Yeah.
It's also harder to break through
Well, Joe,
because they're so limited on how many spaces and placeholders are available for that music. So
pop stations, FM, satellite, Pandora, Spotify, SiriusXM, you're gonna hear the same things over and over because it's what people want, Joe. It's what people want. It's like people want to hear the same songs over and over. No one wants to hear variety. That's been proven. That's like goes back to our first conversation. It's what you say you want, but you really feel the opposite. I hate Nickelback, but you buy their albums. I hate the Kardashians, but they're billionaires.
maybe it's just a matter of I guess every story is going to be different, right? But like Carly Rae Jepsen, she was old for a pop star, right? She was kind of older.
She wasn't like 20.
She wasn't like super young and poppy. She just had a very big pop song. Maybe it's a matter of like, yeah, the song was great, but did she really have the star power? And once they realize that, they're done with you. And she didn't have the star power.
Tom Hanks was in her other video.
Tom Hanks,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah,
Good-
she
good
had a
one.
big star in her next
Thanks,
follow-up.
Jake.
And you know the next follow-up, but it probably didn't catch on, even with Tom Hanks in the video. And she didn't have star power, even though that song was a smash hit. Like, that song was massive.
By the way, Alex hit us up with a good recent one-hit wonder. I mean, it was still a few years back, but
Didn't Silento? Didn't he get arrested or something?
watch me whip, watch me nay-nay, watch me whip. Yeah, that was, I mean, you're trying to tell me he couldn't come out with another
Stank.
stank. No follow-up. Just a deep thought to end the show on.
Yeah, how is it not possible if they manufactured one? How couldn't they just take that formula with a proven artist?
If Covino was a rock star, and
Yeah,
he had a
limited
big
to
hit,
your-
and he had a big hit, and it's
Right.
like, Covino, what's your second single? And Covino's like, I have music integrity. I only write my own stuff. And let's say his second song sucked. But if Covino was a pop star, had a hit, and they're like, Covino, they love you. Here's another pop song that fucking Ed Sheeran wrote for you. I don't get it.
Again, it's like what goes viral. Maybe it's as simple as there's no blueprint. Shit catches or
By
it
the way,
doesn't.
Silento's in jail for murder, I think.
Yeah, I remember there was a bad story about him.
I don't laugh. I'm just saying, like, bad example maybe then.
To wrap up the
Where
music
has
talk,
Silento been?
I gave Mike Golding a shout out. The reason I gave him a shout out is because he had a good recommendation. I haven't watched it yet, but it's music related. He says, watch Hired Gun on Prime, Amazon Prime, a great documentary about the unknown studio and session musicians who back up the big names in rock. Very cool documentary for the music heads out there. It's called, again, Hired Gun on Amazon Prime. So thank you.
Sounds good to me, bro. Hey, listen, on that note, want to call it a day, say farewell, and we'll see you guys back here live mañana.
Enjoy your Monday night foosball. Enjoy our Behind the Velvet Rope.
Who do you got? Cowboys or Eagles? Make your pick.
Cowboys.
By 3.5, though?
Yeah. Cowboys.
They going to light it up tonight? Chris Rucker going to be
I'll
sipping.
be
Is he going to be sipping his whiskey in celebration or tears?
For Chris Rucker, I say yes. And there's no Yankees tonight and no Bachelor in Paradise, so I'll be watching some Monday Night Football. For sure.
Where's the game?
I don't know.
Where is the game? It's in Dallas. You know what that means?
I was going to say that. Would have been a cool guess.
You know what that means, bro?
Had a 50-50 shot at being right. I should have went with it.
You know what that means, home slice?
What up, home skillet?
Dallas gets to wear their white jerseys. Because everyone's fucking with Dallas by wearing white at home. Because Dallas traditionally avoids their navy blue uniforms. Because Dallas always wears white at home, and most other teams wear color at home. But now teams are...
Rich wears Bud Light sweatshirts at home.
I wear Bud Light sweatshirts. But yeah, no, Cowboys are getting fucked with because other teams like, all right, we're going to wear our whites at home to force the Cowboys into those navy blues. But tonight, Cowboys rocking their home whites. Eagles, Cowboys tonight. We'll see you guys. Maybe we'll do it behind the velvet rope.
I want to apologize to everybody at home who was disappointed in my womp. You know what a womp is or no?
Whack ass pomp?
Yeah. We established that behind the velvet rope with my brother. If you want to watch it again, if you want to find out what the womp is really all about.
How is your brother?
You either got a pomp or a womp. Sorry, I brought the womp into action today, guys. Tomorrow I'll be very pompous tomorrow.
By the way, to wrap up, I only watched the first little bit of the Behind the Velvet Rope. What's your brother's vibe these days? Like, does he want to settle down, or is he still like in the ass mode, or what is he?
I don't think I'm never getting married, yo. I don't think I'm having kids ever, yo. Because
he's in the like dating world, never gonna marry, have kids.
No, but the dating world is so
discouraging.
Like he's completely like,
I'll never find love.
He's done with it. Yeah, he's like, girls are just looking for the upgrade, and it's a different breed of person out there.
Maybe he'll
like,
try dudes.
Never. It's just not. It's not happening. You know, respect. So, don't have a wampus day. Have a pompous day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
On tomorrow's show, a lot of fun to get to. I'll give you a couple things.
Womps.
Jaded perspective on greatness. Womps. The next generation. And an article that I saw our buddy Steve Ward, remember the guy from Tough Love? Mm-hmm. Steve Ward posted an article that I thought was interesting. It had to do with the changing dynamics of relationships and how more women, this is interesting. Think about this for tomorrow. Get your mind working. More women are graduating from college than men on a 2-to-1 ratio. Which, if you really think about it, how does that change?
2-to-1 ratio. That's called a double header, yo. Respect. Double headers. My brother talks about that too on Behind the Velvet Rope.
So if women are graduating college at a 2-to-1 ratio, what does that mean for the dynamic of relationships and earners and breadwinners and kids and families, like moving forward? If the woman has a higher education and higher potential earnings,
it means men cash in on the alimony. That's what it means.
Yeah, but I want to go over all the residual effects of that tomorrow. Like, does that mean
you're seeing a lot of men take off when they have a baby?
Yeah, and that's another angle.
It's a role reversal. And my brother's he struggles there. It's like, not worth it, yeah. Relationships are tougher than ever. He's given up on any long-term sort of marriage or kid sort of thing.
Well, I already wrote it down.
As he approaches his 30s.
I already wrote it down for tomorrow's show.
All right,
we'll see you then. Until then, have a good one. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.